is that time once again where January goes to February and we start talking about the Florida 500. I'm John Ramos. To my right, Jarrett Lundberg. We're going to take you through the duels to the LCQ and find out who's going to set the 40-car field for the 26 e-ticket event. It's a Tuesday night. It's an exciting night, and the drivers have all lined into their duels for Duel 1 and Duel 2. And Jarrett, it's going to be something that we haven't seen in quite some time.
No, because I think the only time that consistently we've ever done some kind of duel before was with the NWP 400. This format, a little bit different changes to it we'll talk about in a bit, but having it this early in the year with so many changes that have happened, new drivers, old drivers, all of that, we've never had it for this big event.
It's insane. I mean, before we talked about, hey, we can only do 62 drivers. We'll have entry lists where they're in the hundreds to 200s, 250, and we'll narrow it down to 62. But we found a unique way to get up to 64, and in theory, really get it up to 80 if we want to in the near future if the demand continues to rise. But here's the big thing about Daytona. It's big, it's beautiful, and it's going to be great to see what we have to offer. Two duels separated by what drivers wanted, either Duel 1 or Duel 2. They get to pick. And then it goes off of how many wins you have in NR Night in America.
And it is a star-studded field. To the best of the best have come out in so many different ways. So many previous e-ticket winners in this race. So many people that have, never maybe been put in this position, either run up front in duels. We have some who have never been in duels before. So for favorites like Daniel Mosteller, that's something new. I mean, there's so many different changes to this. It might sound the same on paper, but these drivers will tell you it's not exactly the same.
It's a lot of fun to look back to the years of e-tickets. You look at what schemes were in 2023, 2022, then 2024. This year, it's a whole new ballgame. Drivers that are veterans coming back. Newcomers that have won an NR Night in America, now trying to get the taste, their first ever opportunity at an e-ticket event. Then you have drivers that are underdogs that were of then and now. So many different things, so many different looks. But let's talk about that big underdog because we have an LCQ here tonight. Let's talk about Nathan Dew. The NWP 400, most remember it for maybe fog, great racing, new schemes popping under the lights, or that LCQ finish. No one had Nate circled at all during the LCQ, and what did he do? He beat James Thurston. He beat all these drivers you see week in and week out, and the Dew crew started to trend in this community. Can he do it again, Mr. Jarrett?
I mean, I think that really, of course, anyone can do it. It's a super speedway. As long as you just keep the car in a straight line and you don't crash the entire pack, you should be good to go. But he was able to capitalize at the end of that race. I went back and rewatched it about a week or so ago, and I was surprised that he was back, I think, with about maybe a lap to go, maybe at the white flag. He was in 6th. Like, he was all the way back in the middle of the pack. Before the last caution, he was at the back of that pack. All it takes is capitalizing on others' mistakes and capitalizing at the right time to make it, and he's proven that he can do that.
And what's really interesting as well is you may be saying, wait, that's a Gen 4. Isn't this a completely different aero package? We'll get into that in just a matter of moments. But yes, at the end of the day, it comes down to who's going to be resilient, who's going to rise to the occasion, and who's going to make their way into the show. Because at LCQ, we're looking at 24 drivers going for one spot. On top of that, a fan vote will be added to the end, but you still got to think who has the likelihood of making it to the LCQ. And looking at some of the chats, some believe an e-ticket winner may not advance to the Florida 500.
Well, and I'm just saying this too when it comes to different guys that could not advance or might not advance. We've seen this in duels before in the LCQ, where we usually have one or two of the main favorite guys in that race, and that's what makes it such a big deal.
What's also very interesting is new looks. Now, most know Daniel Mosteller on the e-ticket side as driving the number 9, that iconic 9 Coca-Cola look. The photo finish in last year's Florida 500 between him and Drew Jua. Jua's back in the 5, but Mosteller takes on the 87. For the ones that just watch an e-ticket, it's a bombshell. Why is he going from the 9 to the 87? For Mosteller, that has been his number since the start of NR Night in America. First opportunity to race it in an e-ticket event. He's been running since 2021. Opinions?
I mean, it's going to take a lot of getting used to. I think that's the big thing, because he has been so good in the 9. He got his first and second e-ticket wins in this car. Struggled at the end of last year, sure, but this has really been what, for a lot of us on the e-ticket side, and I've seen a lot in the chat that have watched on the e-ticket side, this is what we know him as. So 87's his number, and I'm sure that when he runs up front again, because he generally does, that we'll get used to it. But it's going to be an adjustment for me, that's for sure.
It's going to be a huge adjustment for me as well, because usually when we're calling the race, right, we find that 9 out there. We say Ma Stellar. And for NR Night in America, usually twice a week, once a week, I get to see the 87 in new schemes. But maybe this is a good luck charm. He started the year out great, won back-to-back e-ticket events, both the highest viewed e-ticket events, the Florida 500, the Alabama 500, and then misqualifying for the Indiana 500. Didn't show out in NWP. Nowhere to be seen in Tailgate. Nowhere to be seen in the Great American 500. The Demos fans have been looking for a change of pace. That could come here tonight.
I mean, could he be that really popular one that misses? He's not exactly had a good luck streak lately, and he can turn it around. This is a great place, too. We've seen last year what he can do, but is he that guy who, running in his first duel, gets wrecked out and has to go to the LCQ and be one of 24?
The LCQ is going to be so interesting. So let's go back on that topic. We didn't fully dive into detail on what is going to happen, so we're going to start talking about it right here. Once again, 2 duels, 32 drivers, top 19 advance. Left side of your screen, when we're coming to the line, just find who those 19 drivers are, and then it is unofficially the drivers who enter. Well, why is that? Because if you wreck someone for a transfer spot and they don't make the main show, you could be bumped out. We talked about it in the drivers meeting. Let's add some more. Insult to injury. Once again, you start with how many wins you have in NR Night in America. Tiebreaker goes to your I rating. We found out last week some drivers that won an NR Night went from row 16 to row 11. That's good news. So they showed up and they showed out. Some more news to go ahead and follow. The LCQ, you win, you advance. That's 24 drivers, only one gets it done, but then you got that fan vote. Wait till the end of this stream, race fans. You'll have an opportunity to decide who makes the show and who goes home for that 40th spot.
Well, and a big thing, talking about the duels, talking about the LCQ, another rule. So, of course, there's don't wreck somebody, and then don't put it in the admin's hands as well when it comes to deciding was it intentional, were you sent, anything like that. Don't go in the grass. We can race under the yellow line. This isn't like it's a safety issue on the big high banks of Daytona and Talladega in a couple weeks or a couple months. They don't have to let you back in, though.
No.
You made that decision, live with it, but at the same time, don't go in the grass to pass somebody, because at that point, that is the out of bounds line. And if you go down there, if you try and make that pass, well, you're going to get dinged for it, and you're probably going to get sent to the back of the LCQ to start, and that's not exactly a long race either.
No, it's not. 20 laps, that's all you have to deal with. 50 laps per duel. We're going to jump back into something else as well. Let's talk about aero package, right? We know the next gen for being so fast. 205 miles per hour down the Daytona super stretch. Slam drafting, tandem drafting. Did I miss something here? Oh, great side drafting. Very rarely do you have netcode. iRacing dropped an update today. Everything that we were going to talk about in Countdown to Green about these cars, wiped clean. Matter of fact, the closest any of these drivers have had to a test session for Duel 1, right here, right now. They're still learning, they're understanding. We have come to find out that there is a little more of a parachute when you jump out of line. So that super lane that you can make quickly on the outside, is it still around? We don't know. What about if you get a slingshot move? Do you have to side draft more? We don't know. We're going to find out in that first 50-lap duel. And is it a saving grace to be in Duel 2? I think so, because now you get to watch and listen and hear feedback, because drivers are very opinionated. They know what they believe in. They're going to stick by that word. This is going to be very interesting, because Speed Weeks was not just what we saw at USA, what we saw at New Smyrna. It was weeks of testing, and I think now it could be all for broke come the green flag.
Well, that's the great mystery of it for so many people. It could be all for broke. It could be completely wiped clean. Same end, there's some drivers who are like, this is probably just going to be the same thing. Might be a little slower or something. That's the part of it that's so intriguing, is we don't know. We don't know at all. So I think something else interesting with it too. Now, granted, again, NWP was run with the Gen 4 cars, the strategy with it all. I mean, we didn't think strategy was going to come into play with those duels. And then we had, after a lap 1 crash, it go green the rest of the way, and fuel mileage ended up deciding who was in, who was out. You had guys running out of gas. You had others pitting and trying to make it up going full speed while the rest saved. You had lap cars in with the leaders and all of that. These kind of factors all can lead into that kind of shuffle of the field where you could see some really good guys missing it, and you could see some really big underdogs making it because of the change in possible strategy, because of the change in how it drives, all of that. It could be a track position race. It could be just a shuffle. We don't know.
We do not know. It's crazy to say that we're going to be learning with the viewers. Drivers in Duel 2 will be learning from drivers in Duel 1. The LCQ will basically just be a rehearsal of whatever you got from your selected duel. And now we come down to the moment where we say, what big name misses? And why do they miss? And this is going to be great because this is when the live chat gets to say their drivers right away. Oh, this guy's going to miss it for sure. Whether you agree or disagree, this is going to be a hot topic because every single e-ticket event, even when we have single car qualifying bump day, someone big misses. Let's go through it. James Thurston, NWP. Daniel Mosteller, Indiana 500. Frank DeAngelis, California 500.
Bubbick a couple years in NWP 400. He missed it 2 or 3 years in a row. So no one is safe.
No.
But I mean, if you want me to lead it off,
I'd say you
guess
lead it
first. I'm going to lead it off on this one. This guy, to me, he's hit or miss. There's sometimes he's just on fire, leads a ton of laps, up front with those guys, factor to win. There's other times, though, where he is just out to lunch. He thinks he has it, he's ready to go, and then he's wrecked on lap 30. He's the first guy getting lapped. I'm just saying from previous e-ticket events I've watched. I'm going to go with the guy who said in the chat that he knows all the rules for this race, and that he's set. Spencer Burns.
Wow. Spencer Burns. And the thing is, he does have a win this year.
Yes, but what has that kind of done for me lately kind of thing? I am for this race. Again, watch back a couple Florida 500s ago. He was up front, leading. He made that awesome move down into the pits, saved it, got back up into the track. It was one of the greatest moves we've seen in an e-ticket. Then look at some of the other e-tickets where he is wrecked out early. He hasn't had the right paint scheme on. I mean, there's times he's just completely off. Which Spencer Burns are we going to have? It's kind of like if you go back in football terms 20 years ago, which Rex Grossman are we getting? Are we getting the really good Rex, or are we getting bad Rex? That's what I'm wondering.
It reminds you of, the kid that's going to Little League practice. Did you forget your hat? Did you forget your cleats? And for Spencer Burns, did you forget the paint scheme? How did you forget the paint scheme?
Did you forget the clamp for your microphone? Like, are we set?
Are we set? And you know what? I have to somewhat agree. Last year in the Florida 500, he led the most laps, but that was I think the most serious we've had of Spencer Burns for an e-ticket, and he almost won that. It could happen tonight to make the show. It could happen this Friday. But you make a lot of great points. And you know what? Let's get to my point right here. Who do I think is going to miss? Because I get to see these drivers on a weekly basis. These viewers get to see these guys on a weekly basis. I'm going to go off of not just what have you done for me lately? How have you raced these drivers lately? Because every time we have a meeting, every time we have duels, every time we have practice, a main event, they always talk about that one guy. That one guy that was racing way too aggressive or just not racing with the head on his shoulders. I have to go with missing this field in Kyle Turzak. What? Kyle Turzak? The short track guy? The one that showed up and showed out at New Smyrna. The one that showed up and showed out at USA. How is Kyle Turzak going to miss a show, you may say? He's not a super speedway guy. That's number one. He does not perform well in the intermediates. That's number two. Now, I know intermediates and short tracks are not the super speedways, but look at how he went and raced in the NWP duels a couple years ago. You mentioned Braden Movick missing the show. It's because Kyle Turzak turned him and didn't get a caution because it was off the racing surface and put him into the LCQ. Kyle Turzak recently has been racing people very boldly, very aggressively. We saw it at New Smyrna. Yeah. It was insane. He was out there to win. But sometimes you need someone behind you to help you make the show, whether that's to win, whether that's to finish fifth. I don't see any friends out here with Kyle Turzak. He may just be that lone wolf trying to make the show.
Well, and I think in a way, would you kind of consider him an underdog then? Because he might not conventionally be one, especially at short tracks, but You put out some pretty good points when it comes to super speedway races, about his history, about other things like that. Is he an underdog then?
Maybe heading to the show, you could say he's an underdog just for the day, but he's a multi-time winner in NR9. He always races in NR9, and he has shown up to super speedways. He has finished in the top 10 because of his standpoint in this community. I can't say he's an underdog. He's behind the 8 ball heading into this race. He is a veteran at heart, and it's going to be tough for him to make the show.
I think it is too, especially, again, what you point out with how he's raced at these tracks before.
Well, guess what? We're just in or around 10 minutes away before we go green flag racing in duel number 1. We're going to step aside for 30 seconds, and then we're going to come back to go ahead and interview drivers ahead of their duels. Matter of fact, we want to interview those guys just to get an understanding of how these cars will race. You're watching the Florida 500 Duels at Daytona, presented by Lane Sanders Designs. The winner of Duel 1 and Duel 2 will be given $20, and they'll have an opportunity to race in the show this Friday.
He's gonna do it! He's gonna go back to back and win his second e-ticket title! Mosteller top! Mosteller to the lead! Top shelf! Here they come! Side by side on turn 4! Around right in the middle of the field! Gives the book to Kevin Champagne! It's gonna be a race back to the start-finish line!
And we are back ready to show it all off. Well, so Duel 1, Duel 2, we got some drivers hanging out. We have some drivers ready to go. What I love about Duel 1 is front row, Daniel Mosteller, Braden Movick. We get to hear from at least one of them to go ahead and start. And honestly, let's start with Braden Movick. He's the one that was saying, get the session up now. Let's talk right now. We need to understand what's going on right now. So we're going to hear from him in the first move. Movick, John Ramos, you got a copy?
What's good, player?
Okay, hey, you wanted that session up quickly. What have you been able to learn from this aero package?
Very similar to the old one, just that little bit slower. I have noticed you got a little bit more left rear side draft now, which I've been begging for like 4 years.
Okay.
But we finally got it. The right rear side draft has been toned down just slightly, and they raised the intensity of the left rear side draft just slightly. So it's going to be a little bit more even. But yeah, in a big pack, both lines should be working, and tandems. Watch out for those tandems.
Tandems. Tandem drafting is coming back.
They're coming. It's going to come into play big time.
Oh man,
these races.
We have nearly 300 watching in this chat right now. They're all asking for information ahead of this. The night time's the right time. When we go racing come Friday, we're not racing under the lights. We may be ending around that pinkish sky, but is this gonna race a little bit different come Friday, or are you expecting it to at least be close to the same?
I'm expecting it to be pure chaos tonight. Nighttime naturally brings that out of people, and again, we're racing for basically like racing for our lives. That's what I want to say. But I think tonight's gonna be much more aggressive in terms of the racing and some of like the moves you're gonna make. But yeah, I don't like talking about Friday because that's a little bit too far ahead. We've got a job to complete tonight. So
hey, that is pretty good. We'll continue to chat with you as the night goes on. Good luck. Braden Movick will be starting row number 1 in his respected duel. We'll get ready to continue to monitor. Daniel Mosteller, you're with us. We just spoke with Movick. We got to hear what was kind of going on his side. Opinions, strategy, anything really changing heading into this race with this aero package?
No, I think for me personally, I ran 2 races. You know, I had a little bit of free time just to see how it was, and in my opinion, it's very similar. I think the only key difference is we're a little bit slower compared to the older package.
So no 205, 207. What are you expecting here? In or around 200 miles per hour?
You can break 200, but you're not going to see those crazy speeds of 206, 207, close to 210. You're not going to see that.
I don't know how I feel about that. From a entertainment standpoint, man, I love seeing 206. Remember we did the USA 500, they're breaking 210 down into turn 1?
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a lot of fun.
It's going to be interesting. Hopefully, at least visually, it's not that big of a difference. Parachutes, is there any parachutes at all? I know people are talking about that could be a thing now with this update.
Well, the side draft, it's definitely more effective on the left side, so I think we will still see people ripping the top as a dominant lane, but I think you'll be able to do a little bit more on the bottom, so hopefully that will lead to more side-by-side racing and more people going for moves.
Okay, well, it looks like the common theme is passing. We're going to see how that goes. We're just under 5 minutes before we got to hit trackside for duel number 1. Let's talk to someone that, you know, I might be a double-edged sword here. I said Kyle Turzak's a veteran because he's been here so long. He's won so many times. Riker Byram's got to win. But I still kind of consider him an underdog, honestly. Riker Byram, John Ramos, you got a copy?
Yep, I got you.
All right, man. Hey, listen, this time of year, it's all about West Texas, right? It's all about what you can do, how you can do it. You didn't perform well in the Clash. You backed it up with a great run in the Battle of the Beach, but you also won the Battle of the Beach last year, and it carried that momentum for the Florida 500. With your great showing at New Smyrna, just around the midnight hour, can it be just enough to get you locked in and make the show?
I think so. I'm feeling pretty confident just because of that run that I had. You know, I feel like I can compete with these guys. I got a few people in there that I feel confident working with too. So, you know, I think I got a good shot at getting up there to the front, just as long as I can hold them off.
We were just talking to Mosteller and Movic about the aero package, what has changed. Small parachute, it seems like. More side drafting, tandem drafting's apparently coming back. We don't know how big of a standpoint it would be. I don't think it's gonna be like 2011. I don't think it's gonna be like 2012.
Nah.
But I mean, it could be a little bit like 2019 when they first displayed that new aero package with the Gen
Like
6.
a straightaway or through corner set or so, maybe.
Right. Do you think you're gonna really need a teammate in this duel to make the transfer?
I don't know, quite honestly, because I never have teammates. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I never really prepare for this. Quite honestly, I just wing it. But it always ends up working out in some form or fashion. But you know, I think there's a couple of guys in there that I trust, and I think that would work with me if I got paired up with them. I don't even think I'd have to say anything to them. But honestly, I don't think personally it would take that. I don't think it's that huge of a difference, even though it's changed a little bit. I don't think it's that huge of a difference that you'll need a teammate like that. I just think as long as you can hold off those guys behind you and keep them from getting by you, which with the way this car is driving now, I think it's going to be a little, I don't want to say easier, but I want to say it's more accessible to keep those guys behind you to hold on to your spot to get locked in.
All right, well, great analysis there. Riker Byram, right now you feel like it could be a one-man show, but we'll see how it all goes. The driver from West Texas in that beautiful Whataburger 98. We'll get one more driver in before we get going. Lane Sanders, you are sponsoring the Florida 500 Duels at Daytona, presented by Lane Sanders Designs. Talk to me. What is Lane Sanders Designs, and just the whole hard-headed, how does it help out with the community?
Sanders Racing Designs, John, is like a lot of your other small-time designs. I wanted to get my brand out there because I do commissions. I do a lot of free commissions. You know, I have quite a number of paint schemes in this field. Of course, my team. I have a couple other cars as well. Hang on, I gotta mute the thing. I'm hearing myself talk.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to give back because I know I give. You know, I get a lot from the community. I wanted to give a little bit back. So the winners tonight of the duels, not the LCQ, the duels will get $20 from Sanders Racing Designs. $20 to the winner of each duel. And we put a little bit as well into the production, so y'all could get a really nice production here. I know I've seen the intro you guys had. I thought really highly of it. I think it's one of your best ones yet, John.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just Daytona is just so. I of all times for them to try to go realistic with this car, they picked the absolute worst time to do it. I'm not a fan.
Not a fan of this aero package, really.
I don't like it. I think we should go back. I think iRacing should go back, but they're not going to because, you know, they just we're gonna put that with the, you know, you hear me all the time complain about the Xfinity damage wall. We're gonna put it with that pile of just bad changes. Yeah, but I'm interested to see how it is. We are literally one spot out. I'm starting one spot out. I have my teammates all behind me, and we're gonna try if we can get like all of us in, that would be the biggest miracle to end all miracles. I'd be happy. I could finish like 20th in the
And
500. I'd be happy because I got all the cars in. That's just that stresses me out more than anything is getting me and my team in. I'm just ready to go. Looks like it's Tom the Grid, and thank you all for having me.
It is. It's showtime. If you guys want to check out Sanders Racing Designs, a link to that is in the description below. Lane, we've already had 1,000 go ahead and watch the pre-race show before the duels. Hopefully they go ahead and check it out. Link to that is also in the live chat below. It's showtime, race fans. Let's head trackside for the duels at Daytona. Already a nice overhead view. Under the lights, we haven't had a duel at night. Can you believe that?
No, I can't believe it. It's new on all fronts.
It is. It's new on all fronts. Now, we do have our overlays back that you all know and love. 32 drivers in duel number 1. Left side of your screen, you'll be able to see who those drivers are before we get gridding, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Already off the bat, you see the notable names. Mavic, Mosteller, both those drivers, a whole lot of wins in NR Night in America. But man, I'm already looking. Before we get to the driver lineup, Sanders talked about it. He started 20th. Wilkerson there in 8th. Nice to see those SDP colors back. Nathan Scott, glad he got his haircut. He's in 7th.
Yeah, great job on his part in the GTA haircut. But you know what? The row I'm looking at is row 2. Look at that, 3rd and 4th. John, what does that say?
For 3rd
Am I
and
seeing
4th.
double?
Pop the bottles. It's a brother row 3. You know what's crazy? If Justin Champagne wins the Florida 500, they'll become the first family of this community. Kevin
Nice.
Champagne's an e-ticket winner already. Can Justin do it?
Well, they got to make it through first, and both of them, we've noted so many times, are so aggressive in how they race these tracks, how they approach it, that they're going to be going for the win. Doesn't matter if, I just got to make 19th. They're going to be going for the win the whole time.
Going to be fun to see. They'll do one extra pace lap. We'll get the lights on board. It's e-ticket season in NR Night. Let's go take a look at your starting lineup. Row 1, it's a pair of e-ticket champions. Daniel Mosteller, Florida 500 champion, and also Braden Mavic, a Florida 500 champion.
We just talked about row 2, the Champagne side by side already. The race hasn't even started yet.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of racing tonight. Michael mentioned the most prominent winner of an e-ticket, the Great American 500 just last December, and Sean Rowe looking for his first.
And in row 4, Nathan Scott, we just talked about him, had an eventful day already. And Jacob Wilkerson, been a little quiet in recent e-ticket events, looking to change that this week.
It very much can change. Row 5, Gavin Austin, new number, going from the 22 to the 2, and Jackson Carr, we're used to starting him front row, gonna have to work his way somewhat through this field.
And in row 6, Contreras and Vincent Gucci starting side by side. Should be a pretty interesting pair heading up the grid.
Row 7, you got it. Mikey G is back with the Duncan 45, and Tyler Tinsley, he's played these games before in the Squid Games 2 75.
And in row 8, James Bomar in the 20 this time around, and Dominic Barbagallo in that really colorful 17.
Oh, it looks side-eye all right. There in row 9, Max Timar says Jumpman is back, and Jason Beckman plans to rock your world.
Yeah, Avenged Sevenfold. Row 10, though, Jacob Malone in that number 3 machine, and the man we talked to in pre-race, Lane Sanders, starting 20th.
Row 11, Will Shack and Mitchell Armstrong are lined up side by side, getting ready to see what they can roll with.
Jeff Prochatsky and Everett Krauts, they're both two people made a bit of names for themselves lately, starting row 12.
Row 13, you see it, Yaroslav Donskoy, the only Russian driver racing. It's 4 a.m. where he is. That's not going to stop him. And Kai Collymore making his first attempt at an e-ticket start.
And in row 14, we got McLaughlin and Comstock, two that really trying to make more of a name for themselves in these e-tickets.
Row 15, Yahir Rodriguez ready to rock and roll with Jackson Buys in 33.
And rounding out the field, Chase Crawl in that 88 machine and Jason Hall in the 82.
That will make up the 32 drivers. Once again, 50 laps per duel. The top 19 advance. You see them already on the left side of your screen. I'm John Ramos, the voice of NR. To my right, Jarrett Lumberg. We'll be taking you every single lap through Duel 1, Duel 2, and the LCQ. Sit back, relax, and enjoy your, I was going to say Saturday night. Enjoy your Tuesday night edition of this e-ticket night in America. The Florida 500 will be live. You're not going to want to miss it this Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, here on the IDK Player YouTube channel.
It's going to be a lot of fun, but tonight's going to be a lot of fun too. You can already see the way they're gridding up the guys at the front compared to the ones in the back. There's going to be some shuffling in this.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of shuffling. Schemes that are iconic, new schemes on display, new numbers, new drivers, same still veterans, same great, and our night in America. Field rolling 2x2, the high banks at 3 in 4 here at the World Center of Racing. The bow ties will lead us to green. Now Ford won the last e-ticket event. Do we see Toyota try to grab one? It's been a while. Or does Chevrolet continue that reign?
Find out. Let's get it going.
The excitement you've been waiting for all winter has come under the lights of the World Center of Racing. Let's find out who's going to make the 26 e-ticket event. Let's light the fuse in Duel 1 at Daytona. First drive in the 1 and 2. Justin Champagne has caught the back bumper of Braden Movick. They got Justin O's out in front when climbing the banking. Inside lane, Daniel Mosteller's got a ride. That's with Kevin Champagne.
Inside gets the edge onto the super stretch. We talked about it earlier. Tandems could be a factor, and the tandem of Mosteller and Kevin Champagne take the lead.
It would not surprise me. They said, hey, link up right away. Listen to what we just talked about. Look at what we just learned. Quickly, they pulled away from Nathan Scott. Gavin Austin on the inside lane. And the defending Florida 500 champion looks to lead lap 1. Can he do it? Yes, he does.
But Champagne is on the bottom with a push from Mitchum. Both of them now trying to make their way up towards the front. Still double file through the entire field.
Left side of your screen, you'll see us continue to roll through the intervals. All 32 drivers will be on display. Once again, top 19 advance from Lane Sanders on back. It's about where you can make a move. The outside lane is starting to see a mass herd. Kevin Champagne leading with Mosteller. Inside lane, defending e-ticket champion of Michael Mitchum.
And he's got a push from Scott in that 60 machine, as well as Gavin Austin in his new number 2 car.
Brand new scheme. Actually, they got sponsored by BeamNG, a design company. Now, as for the ones that know, there's now an entry fee to enter the e-ticket events just so we can raise the pay and we can raise the opportunities, make the pie bigger. And guess what? RGR said, well, then we got to find a sponsor, right? BeamNG came on, BeamNG Racing Designs, to go and sponsor 5 cars, and already they're getting TV time.
Yes, they are, but they are also outnumbered on the high side. That high line is really starting to form up. You see it now. The 94, 87, 42, all of them really starting that train.
Yeah, they're not waiting at all. Here's the first slingshot move. Movick to the inside. He'll cross the bow of the Michael Mitchum 38. He'll get Nathan Scott in front of him as well. Kevin Champagne will be the first one to try 3 wide and quickly jumps back in line.
Yeah, but you're seeing the aggression from that 42 already. Movick wanting to lead just about every lap. He's going to lead that one. Gets past Champagne. Mitchum has been probably the best pusher of the race so far.
Man, that sim shot machine just sealed to the back end of the McVice 42 and got him right back out in front. Opportunities to learn. We're just 4 laps into this 50-lap race. Inside, outside, we see some stragglers just a little bit deeper in the field. That's Kai Collymore back in 29th. McLaughlin, Rodriguez, and Chase Kroll, some RGR drivers, have already set sail past and out of this main group.
Already seeing Chase Kroll has lost the draft. Everyone else is at least 4 seconds back. He's 8 seconds back. Up front, though, Michael Mitchum, the pusher, is now the pushee. Takes the lead, coming to the line, and the high side gets a bit of a run. Movick leads that one.
So early on, we're already seeing the passing. We're seeing the shuffling. But I think teamwork is just a little more prominent than what we were dealing with in all of Speed Weeks. Before you can energize a run on your own, Mosteller jumps to the bottom. He gets to the 8 of the 42. It's a little more cleaner than what we're used to with this next-gen package.
Well, and what that move did is it brought the Champagne brothers together. 94, 18, second and third on the high side. Mosteller still trying to get that push. Again, it's Mitchum glued to the bumper of the Coke car.
Justin Champagne in the number 18. Originally was the number 38. Michael Mitchum now has sole priority over that number after winning an e-ticket event. He rides the inside, leading that first lane.
And you see the entire pack, whether it be in the front, middle, or back, is having that ebb and flow, high side, low side, which line's moving. And now it's the high side moving. Again, 3 get clear, but that bottom line in the corners, they are flying.
Yeah, they're flying quickly. Look at Most, really late block just to get out in front of the Michael Mitchell machine, and they all thunder their way off turn number 2.
He's going back and forth, back and forth. Whoever is going to win this race has to block both lines at some point. We're seeing Mosteller do that. We've seen Mubik do it, and you're already seeing it early on.
That is a beautiful sight, 3 wide, deeper in the field. You just saw it. Daniel Mosteller leads, but the driver that designed his paint scheme, that and Dominic Barbagallo, left out to dry. We thought the 3 wide was going to stick. It's not going to stick. It is a little more realistic to what you see come Daytona racing.
Well, and what we saw is that 17 getting shuffled out. That means he is outside of the transfer at this point, outside of that top 19.
Let's talk about more guys back there that have kind of wowed us. Michael Gregory, former e-ticket winner. He's outside the transfer. We asked the live chat below, does an e-ticket winner miss the 4 to 500? 74% said yes. That is an insane increase than what we're used to seeing.
It is, but we're seeing the aggression towards the back. There were already people shooting middle, trying to take it 3 wide again.
So the teammates of PCR on the outside, 2 Chevrolets, Mosteller and Mubik stick together. Kevin Champagne, who says I like sticking with winners, has his brother also behind him. That in Justin Champagne. Sean Rowe, you see Jacob Wilkerson and Jackson Carr have lined up. Also teammates, that's PBR, owned by Zach Todriff. Teams are starting to come together. I haven't talked about teams like this since maybe the World 600 in late 2021, but unlike that event, they're still 2x2.
Well, it looks like there's another one popping out of line, so you see some trying to make it work. Bice this time, I think, is the one, but it's just shuffling you right back. Nobody getting out of line. They don't need to.
Yeah, this is Jackson Bice. We can hear sound bites from some of these drivers. It makes me laugh a little because it reminds me of what Denny Hamlin talks about in his podcast or other drivers talk about during media day. You jump out of line, it's like you get hit by just a huge gust of wind. It's almost like a parachute is strapped to the back of your car and you're headed way back. So how do you make the moves? How do you make the runs? You need work. You need to work with others. Look at this, 3 wide up the middle.
Yeah, you're seeing the pack getting broken up for a moment, going to come back together. That third line trying to form up the middle. Nobody really going with Malone, though. He is stuck in the sucker hole.
I think if you're going to make 3 wide work, you have to go in the middle. And I'm not saying we're going to see this come Friday. I think it's also drivers that are a little more hesitant to make the move. If I'm in 12th, if I'm in 13th, I'm in the show. There's no need to get that aggressive. But if I'm in 19th, if I'm in 20th, might as well try to see if something can work. Michael Gregory's in the 17th position. He's in the red zone. Right behind him, his teammate, Eladon Contreras, also in the red zone. Oh, man, underneath.
The apron.
And
around. Malone is around in the 3.
Slides to the inside. He gets it back fired in the right direction. Nobody else losing the draft. We stay green, and we may have to see a replay on that. But from the driver that went 3 wide early on, he'll lose the draft and have to pick up Tyler Tinsley.
Yeah, in the middle trying to make an aggressive move. Not going to happen, though, when it comes to moving forward. He's going to fall back to these 3 cars and hope that he's just able to keep speed and maybe there's a caution.
Let's go ahead and watch back. This is Malone in the middle. Watching a replay. Tries to side draft Kai Collymore.
Is that Lane Sanders that got into him?
It was. Sanders Racing Designs, the sponsor of the Duels, turning the 3 machine. And no caution, a loop and pull. Some may be saying, if you don't watch sim racing often, why is that not a caution? Well, we know he's safe. He got it back going, goes off the racing surface. Calling cautions on the sim side, vastly different than in person.
Yeah, no need to. And you're seeing how spread out now the pack has gotten because of what happened through there, because of those having issues. And you're starting to see a bit of a gap form between the haves and have-nots so far of this race.
And Kevin Champagne will side draft Mosteller down off turn 4. Not enough of a run. We'll get a shove from the 42. Maybe it is enough because Ford will lead this lap. 39 to go.
Making a really compelling case up front to be one of the dominant ones of this race. You're seeing those 4, though. The 94, 42, 18, 87. Those 4 are some of the best in NR night. They're always up front racing for wins and for the lead. I'm not surprised at all they've been able to maintain this.
No, you're starting to see a little more blocking. The 87 jumps to the outside in front of the Kevin Champagne 94. Dominic Barbagala, next driver to lose the draft. He is halfway down the Daytona Superstretch. Everyone else in a 2x2 train climbing the banking of 3 and 4.
And at some point, you're going to have somebody in the back there, some of those guys that are stuck in that cut line. They're going to have to start making moves. You're going to probably see more of that 3-wide racing. Others on that cut line that are above, they're going to have to try and clear them a bit. So the 2x2 for now, a lot of it's self-preservation.
Now, what I really loved about the NWP duels, we got to see green flag pit stops with a 50-lap feature of Duel 1 and Duel 2. Could the same happen here? We go caution-free. Everyone has to make the mad dash to pit road. It is very possible.
We saw the way that the lap cars in that, how they affected the finish. We saw how different drivers with their fuel strategy were able to either excel and make up those spots to make it, or they were the ones that floundered and ended up missing, had to go to the LCQ. Right now, though, this pack I think needs to just keep it together.
Yeah, they do. Max Steinmeier up to 12, James Bomar in 14th. Same 20 for that JBL Toyota. But at the end of the day, it pops, it glows. Gavin Austin, we talked about him. He's back to 10. Elodom Contreras, Yaroslav Donskoy. I like the Donskoy story because it's a little interesting. Let's talk about it again. Yaroslav is not from the United States. He is teammates with Lane Sanders, who actually comes to the 8 of the 90. He cannot race with Trading Paints Pro. The only way to make an e-ticket event is if you have Trading Paints Pro. That's how we get the cool number fonts and those really nice paint schemes that pop with the spec map. But Trading Paints Pro does not exist in Russia. And because of that, with Yaroslav being a prominent open-wheel driver and now becoming a household name in this community, we said, because of the sanctions on your country, we will let it slide. So currently it is 7:42 local time in Nashville, Tennessee. 8:42 on the East Coast. Give it 4:42 there in Russia.
Ooh. But you know what? He's dedicated and he's doing a really good job. Really good job also up front between these four, just swapping the lead back and forth.
Now quickly, Justin Champagne had the race lead on the outside. Daniel Mosteller was able to take it back. Sean Rowe will aid the Toyota up top. Matter of fact, it looks like a Toyota train minus Kevin Champagne just right in the middle of it.
Well, and we're seeing more and more, if you watch behind the pack, more are starting to lose that draft. And it's just chipping away at this main pack.
I like the fact that it's almost more of a team game, at least right now with the duels, because you know the brothers are going to line with each other. Now, what happens to the finish? We're used to seeing them go at it. We've been told, and we were told stories that there was a time Kevin Champagne, Justin Champagne going for the win in NR Night in America. They wrecked, and all of a sudden a shoe comes by one of their heads. So they're willing to go for the win, but until that final lap, they're going to be best buddies, and they're going to remember who's mom, because you don't want to have it to be quiet come dinner.
Well, and real quick, that was Chase Krull in the 88, first to go a lap down in this race. He's fallen to the back of that orange and white machine. Not falling to the back is Braden Lovick, who's going to go for the lead again under Daniel Mosteller.
Yeah, he will, and this time Kevin Champagne will be with them. Two groups somewhat forming up. 44, Jackson Carr in no man's land, trying to hold on to the one in front. Just behind him, you look, and I believe that's Max Steinmeier. That's James Bomar. That is also the Michael Gregory 45 that's in tow. Behind as well, Elodom Contreras, RGR trying to link up. In front of Elodom, it's a line of PBR that spans maybe 4 or 5 drivers deep.
And you're starting to see again that pack, it's like a rubber band. It just sort of starts to fall apart and then come back together. Eventually it's going to snap, and you're starting to see that pack is falling further and further behind. That's what? Probably the top 16 have broken away from them.
I find it interesting because if you watch back to an NR night that we had recently, it was at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Duel 1 went caution-free. Duel 2 went caution-free. The main went caution-free. But if you get to about halfway, this is what the pack looked like, and everyone was scratching their heads, hey, how do we lose the draft? Isn't Atlanta supposed to be a super speedway? If you start side drafting drivers too much, you lose touch with the drivers in front of you, and that's what we just saw recently in this pack. Here's Contreras. Behind him, Jason Beckman got held up, Jackson Byes and others, and it is now a full single file train. So with these drivers losing touch, like you see with Nathan McLaughlin, Yahya Rodriguez, they're forced to ride around.
I'll give credit, though, to those guys in that pack. They managed to find their way back up. Someone else finding his way up is Rowe. He is going to try and get a push from Wilkerson to the lead.
Lined up and loaded, Sean Rowe, outside lane. PBR has come to play under the lights. Rowe leads that lap, 32 to go.
And fast approaching even more lap traffic as Malone is right on the horizon when it comes to getting lapped. He is 48 seconds behind this pack. Any moment now, he is going to be flying by the wrong way.
2 by 2 just behind this main group. You got drivers single file to the outside lane. Lane Sanders jolting out of line, being led that by Jason Beckman. Mosteller, that 80. Oh, trouble! Wilkerson hard into the outside wall. That's just what the oncoming pack. The caution will wave on lap, should we say, in or around 32 to go. And the first big hit in this duel comes from a prominent driver.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a bump draft gone wrong if I had to guess. You don't really see cars just fly up towards the fence like that on a regular basis.
Working lap 19, now on 20. The caution waves for the first time, and if Wilkerson can fix it, great, but if he cannot, he's the first notable heading to the LCQ.
Rough break. We'll see what the damage is on that car and what happened.
Man.
Yeah, there's a bit of damage on that nose.
Yeah, something's telling me that may not just be sitting in the draft. When you hit nose first into the outside wall, it's usually over. Single car incident, field coming on by. And Jacob Wilkerson and PBR already behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, rough deal for him. I mean, you see how much that Camry's nose is just completely bent in.
We are hearing it could have been the rear end of the 09 of Vincent Gucci. His nose phased through the 43. We didn't get to see it from this view. Let's see it here. No, Vincent Gucci wasn't the one that even got into him. That's what one of the admins said. It was Michael Mitchum that took the 43 for a ride.
Yeah, I mean, he was running about 5th, I'd say.
Let's watch it again. We may have to go with a drone shot. Nose phasing through. I didn't see that. So Mitchum gives him a huge shot from behind and pushes him into Sean Rowe.
Right into that left rear.
Oh, you did see the phasing.
Yep, and then there was the phasing right after that.
And you can see it from this view. Watch the 38 there at the sim shot machine. You can see it just phasing through the back bumper. Mitchum forced to get off of him, and that's what already upset the Wilkerson machine. Phases one more time through. We've never really had a phasing issue unless it comes down to internet, but there's no blinking out of any of these cars as Wilkerson slams the outside retaining wall.
God, that is a rough break for him. I have to imagine that's a lot of damage, and just continuing on and hoping attrition hits is one thing, but that car I don't think is going to be as competitive as it was before. Plus, with it being so difficult to make your way up and pass, it's going to be a really tough task for that 43 machine.
And we'll get ready to hear what he has to say. Pit road is wide open. He is down and in. Under the caution flag for the first time in duel number 1 here at Daytona. You're watching the Florida 500 Daytona Duels presented by Sanders Racing Designs. Jacob Wilkerson, PBR, already in trouble. Wilkerson, John Ramos, you got a copy? Unfortunate the situation. We checked back on the replay. We saw that Michael Mitchum's nose phased through your back bumper. Did it feel weird? Did you know that happened, or are you just hearing this for the first time?
I watched the replay back in. What I was feeling, I just felt my wheel just started. Like, I felt the rear end trying to get turned around, and I was just trying to hold on to it, and then fortunately got turned.
All right, and just like that, what's the car looking like? Is it done? Is it an LCQ?
It's fixable. I just fixed all of the damage.
Okay. Well, he's back on the racetrack. Good to know. Hearing this, Michael Mitchum will be given an EOL for the situation. They don't want to overbear anyone with this whole phasing through the back bumper problem. So Michael Mitchum, from what we're hearing, will be working their way towards the back with you. Wilkerson, good luck. All right, little hiccup there. and we're going to get ready to try it once more. 2x2, Nathan Scott will be on the front row. Daniel Mosteller will be with him. Muvik, Rowe, Austin Carr, Michael Gregory will be that top 7. And all those drivers that went from the back out of the draft, they'll be restarting right up front. Still 32 drivers racing. Wilkerson, A-OK.
Again, I continue to be proven wrong, but I will say it's going to be difficult making it up through there. He doesn't have to make it up back up to the lead, but just make it up to that top 19. John, I'd say, with about 28 or so to go here, they should be able to make it all the way just fine, unless we, have a million green white checkers.
Yeah, you got lucky with that caution, right? Because it could have been phasing. Could Mitchell have just caught him in the quarter panel on his screen? We don't know. That's the thing about sim racing. You hear about problems that you're not exactly going to get in person. It's the closest thing you can get to a one-to-one scale publicly, but there are some situations like you just saw. We're going to get ready to restart. Mosteller, Scott, Rowe, Muvik, 32 drivers. You lose the draft, I think it's all over.
Well, and John, in the pits, big shuffles. I mean, we saw guys who were up front, like the Champagne brothers. They're outside the top 10. You see others like Scott moving up a little bit, Rowe, Gavin Austin. This is a bit of a shuffle in the field coming to the green.
Pace car will make the hard left onto pit road. Let's try it again. Ford Chevrolet, row 1. Chevy Toyota, row number 2. Back green into 1. Look at the amount of room between Muvik and Mosteller on the inside. It will size up a run on the outside as Sean Rowe and BKR were able to get together.
But those two go up to block. They're on the high side. Now the bottom breaking up. You're seeing the shuffle back and forth, back and forth. Gavin Austin now alone taking 3 wide.
I'm surprised the inside lane still was around. There's Nathan Scott there in third. Makes the jolt to the inside. No drafting help from behind. He's side by side for second. Michael Gregory will come. Kevin Champagne will come as well. And still hold on as there's a wreck off turn 4.
Another one in the back as the pack is completely 3 wide.
Yahir Rodriguez, Jason Hall, 2-car incident. They get it backfired towards the back half of the field. We stay green.
You can already see the aggression picked up on this restart. They're still 3 wide, though. That is Bomar getting shuffled out in the middle. He's going to try and find a place in the line. High side has the edge for now, as a couple on the bottom trying to fight back.
Now you're starting to see Gregory trying to help with that 60 machine. Man, it's so weird. The second that 42 and 87 get together, they're able to control the lanes. They're able to control the race together. We saw Scott make an amazing move to the bottom. Under the old aero package, I think it would have worked, but there was just no help from behind.
No, not at all. And that's what these guys are learning, and it's been a mystery as we hit the halfway lap. 25. Left side of your screen, we'll get ready to continue this racing action without any green flag pit stops. 26 laps to go as of this moment. 87-42, the most iconic names, the most iconic numbers in NR Night in America, leading Duel 1. But Nathan Scotty's won everything under the sun this channel has brought, but in e-ticket event. Yeah, Nathan Scott doesn't really care about the pedigree of them up top. He just wants to beat them. And up front, I'd say about the first 20 or so cars starting to pull away, maybe a little more than that. You're starting to see again those guys start to fall off the pack.
Top 18 under a second. Max Steinmeier, Yaroslav Donskoy in the transfer as of this moment. First driver out, Mitchell Armstrong. He sits there in the 37th, or should I say the 20th position in the number 32. Something to note, the LCQ being set by iRating, not where you finish, which means depending on how much time you spend on the sim will depend on where you currently will start come that final race.
Well, Nathan Scott is currently going backwards, found himself stuck in the middle. He's going to shuffle all the way outside of the top 20 now, well outside of the transfer. Wow. And look who's coming up. Jacob Wilkerson, that 43. They repaired the damage. He's good to go.
I'm surprised that they got that thing fixed.
Same.
And we talk about it. We've been talking about it for years. The next-gen mold is like a tank. You hit something hard, you would think the car is done, it's over, it's going back to the shop, and the next thing you know, they have it fixed. But if we have a truck, an Xfinity Series race, and drivers get involved in an incident, they'll be on pit road for what feels like days with that type of hit. I would say he would be thanking his lucky stars that this is the next show.
Well, this field looks like it's ready to board the arc right now because it's just 2 by 2 by 2 throughout. 2 major lines all the way back through probably about 25th.
Michael Gregory has not won at Daytona with the name Florida 500, but it would technically be the Florida 500. But then it was called the 2005 Daytona 500 when we did a lot of cosplay e-ticket events. He was 2 by 2 with the race leader, Daniel Mosteller. The inside lane starting to figure something out. Reading the live chat, reading the Discord, drivers in Duel 2 are saying, oh my goodness, it's identical to what you will see come the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and you're already seeing guys trying to make their way up towards the high side, a slight blink in the pack. And you're seeing the gaps form up because of small little mistakes, some getting into each other. You heard it earlier. But up front, Mosteller, Mavic, they are in control of this field.
Man, very much in control. I just don't think they're going to lose control at all unless something crazy happens later on in this race. We've seen both Champagne's lead. We've seen PBR rise to the occasion. But one thing hasn't changed. 87-42 leading the way with now 22 laps to go.
Well, and how about Jackson Carr? He's made it up to the 4th position, racing in the top 5. We usually see him as just kind of a qualifying merchant, if you will. He has made his way now up through this field in that Code Red machine.
Yeah, very much so. We have 3 Mountain Dew machines in this field. Will Shack kind of a half and half with Taco Bell. The Code Red 44 in Jackson Carr, and the Nathan Dew Mountain Dew 21. You'll see it in Duel 2.
Yeah, but up front, there's still no real charge mounted against the 87 and 42. It seems like Gregory can get himself up there, but he can't really surpass them at all.
No, he can't. One caution in this duel. If you're just joining on in, we say hello and welcome. Duel 2 and the LCQ still left to go. Great crowd watching back on hand. If you're a member of this YouTube channel, the icons have been updated with new driver numbers. You can spam those icons anytime in the live chat, and hopefully your favorite driver is in that group.
And Kevin Champagne, he wants to go. Looked up in the middle, nobody goes with him. He has to come back onto the high side.
No, wasn't able to make it work 2 by 2. And I think we're going to see 3 wide. It's just going to take a punch from about 3, maybe 4 drivers. Every time we see someone try the 3 wide, they go in the middle on their own like Kevin Champagne. And Champagne realizes he has more time to get back up because there's not going to be a run from Eladon Contreras, so he goes up. He wants 3 wide to work, but he knows he's going to need a convoy. He's going to need 2, 3, 4 machines. And who says that Yaroslav Donskoy doesn't go to the middle? Nathan McLaughlin hasn't been in the middle all race long. Matter of fact, he lost the draft. Nathan Scott is in the middle now. He lost all that time from restarting up front. Someone is going to go there, and it's going to start a trend. But that's what needs to start first. That first impact and the wave of cars running 3 wide middle.
Well, it seems they keep trying. You got to make something happen, whether it be up the middle, whether it be on the high side, wherever it might be. But it seems like every time they try to, they just don't have enough cars to do it.
This is a weird stat. 0 out of 31 led by Jackson Carr. We're used to seeing him do a lot of great things. Here's the speed. This is through the middle of the corner on the outside. 191 miles per hour. And when you get the slingshot, you can get up to about 198, 199, and pierce 200. It has changed night and day from what we've been testing the last 2 weeks.
Yes, it has. We're under 20 laps to go now. And there's been no real move from those in the back half of the pack. It seems like they're almost kind of gridlocked for now. Up into the wall, there's somebody else, but doesn't really make too much a difference.
No, it doesn't. Michael Gregory leading on the bottom. Gavin Austin there in that 2nd position downstairs with Vincent Gucci and others that have joined on in. But it is all Daniel Mosteller leading this herd. 20 of the 32 laps have been all to him. Michael Gregory yet to get one. That should be coming soon. Braden Mavic has 2 of the 32. 3 wide. Yahir Rodriguez jumping out of the way, but the 2 machines up front still playing nice with 18 to go.
Well, Nathan Scott tried to take him 3 wide again in the middle. Nobody went with him. He's trying to make moves, but he keeps getting shuffled further and further back. His options are running out.
And he wants to get up there. That's someone that's going to be aggressive, right? He's got Tyler Tinsley behind him. I can't see Tinsley getting aggressive till maybe about 3 laps to go. We're in the ballpark range where we can start talking about this group. Wilkerson in. Everett Couch, he's out. Kai Collymore out. Barbagallo out. As of now, can they get that third lane to move? Kevin Champagne saying it's open season. Someone come with me.
Nobody doing it yet, at least. None of them up front probably have a reason to go up the middle with them. They're safe. They're good. They're in the top 10 to 12, give or take. It's those guys in the back from, I would say, about probably Beckman or McLaughlin on back. They're the ones that got to make a move.
Now they got to make a move and in a hurry. Blinking, never mind. That was just Mubbick quickly to the inside. He's got Michael Gregory now with him, and Gregory will form up to the outside lane. Gavin Austin, the new leader on the inside.
It almost seems like you have to get on the bottom, make your way up, and then just find a position on the high side and stay there. That's what a lot of these guys have done to make up positions. They just sort of let the draft carry them, get up there, and stay.
17 coming to 16 laps to go. Duel 1 at Daytona. The Florida 500 will be live this Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central here on the IDK Player YouTube channel. We're so glad so many of you chose your Tuesday evening to be spending it with us, watching great racing action here at the World Center of Racing. Comers, goers, mainly within the top 8, top 9, top 10. Same 2 guys up front. Michael Gregory, it's been forever since he's won an e-ticket.
They're in the middle. Barbagallo and Wilkerson trying to make a move up. They got up to about the 16th or so position. They're going to need more help. Wilkerson bails.
But Steinmeier says, let's go. Beckman was going to go with them before Steinmeier said, not happening. They're trying to figure something out. And now you're seeing Braden Mubbick try that side draft. They're closing off that middle. They want nothing to do with that outside lane. Lap machine, top side as well.
Well, you saw what it did. A lot of those guys kind of accordion back, and you saw the bottom get a bit of a run. Now they're 3 wide, getting past that 3 machine. Goes another lap down. But no change for the most part.
Not at all. 15 laps to go. Gavin Austin now will be shoving that 87. Remember, the winner of Duel 1 will go ahead and start on pole come Friday, and Mubbick has been energized to hold on to this aggressive move. He was able to do it just inches off the nose of the 87.
Mubbick looking like a mid-2010s Dale Jr. or Joey Logano blocking the entire pack, but that's what you got to do to stay up front. You have to do that.
Yeah, you have to do what you got to do, because you saw what happened with Nathan Scott.
Well, and now you're seeing what's happening with some of the others. You saw that bottom line start moving up, guys, like Perchatsky, like Wilkerson. They're moving their way up towards the front. Scott, again, moving his way up. So it almost seems like you have to sort of just get your way up from the bottom and just hope that the high side has some problems and then find a hole.
Vincent Gucci leading that inside lane 2 by 2 by 2. You see them thundering down off turn 2. Mubbick, Mosteller, Austin Gregory, that currently is the fast 4. In Justin Champagne, in Everett Couch. First one out, Max Steinmeier.
That's a big name. We talked about big names not making it. There goes Kevin Champagne in the middle. He's got to get back up there. No one's going with him, and there's not a hole to get back in. Kevin Champagne, if he can't get back to the high side, he does. Luckily, his brother lets him in, but now the Champagne brothers right there, right on the cut line to get eliminated.
Now hold on, I think that's done by design here. Justin dropped back, Kevin goes to the middle. You know the second these brothers connect together to make that 3 line, the 3 wide work, you're going to have Max Steinmeier join the fray. You're going to have maybe the 43 of Jacob Wilkerson try something. This is a strategy move to get back up front.
And you're now seeing also others that are, and around goes the 77 up into Beckman. There's about 3-4 cars involved.
Tyler Tinsley as well. It will bring the caution out.
And that is good luck for a lot of those guys who dropped off of the pack.
And we will try it all again. There's the damage on the Jason Beckman 14. Looking for the damage maybe on Tyler Tinsley. No, not seeing much. Everett Counts getting turned into the outside wall. Kai Collymore, left front damage as well.
But you said before, these things are tanks, so most of them probably will be all right. Heading into the last 10 laps. We saw the aggression before when they got on a restart. People started making moves. The aggression now with about 10 or so, maybe less to go when they go green. Just saying.
It's going to be something. I'm looking at 16th. I'm looking at 13th. And I think Kevin Champagne may have to allow Jackson Buys by, and he will. So both the brothers, in theory, if they don't pit, will be starting on the outside lane. We'll watch back on a replay to see exactly what happened. This is just before the time of caution. Deep in this main group, Barbagallo, watch that 17.
Kind of almost looked like a bumper lock.
Oh man, and from our angle, it looked 1,000 times worse. That probably did not need to be a caution, which is why there wasn't one originally thrown. And it did definitely go ahead and separate the drivers deeper in the field. Watch again. Barb, Tinsley. I mean, do you blame it on the 75? Do you blame it on the 17?
Well, it looked like Tinsley was getting pushed a little bit too, and I think it was just sort of a chain reaction in the moment, getting slowed up, and it's kind of just the energy moved forward and ended up crashing him.
Yeah, so second caution out, probably borderline. Maybe didn't need to happen, maybe did need to happen. We'll leave that for the comment section. But this allows some of these drivers, once again, that drop out of that main group to close back in. Jason Beckman's on pit road. Yahir Rodriguez. Jason Hall is in as well. From 32nd to 19th, it looks a lot tougher than it did at just about, I want to say, 24 hours ago. And with 10 laps to go, we'll get to now. We'll maybe be restarting in or around 9 to 8. You got to start questioning how aggressive you can get with this aero package.
Yeah. I'm looking, though, through this pack and guys, where they're at in the pack. And still the Champagnes, I get there together. They're going to work together. Still the danger zone. If something happens up front, we saw it earlier, happened with Wilkerson up in the top 5. Something happens up front, we're looking at a very precarious situation.
Yeah, it's gonna be something, because we still haven't seen that 3 wide. We still think we can see that 3 wide, but it's gonna come down from these guys learning. Once again, yes, they had practice, and from what I heard, they were 3 wide in practice, but that's them just throwing it out there, trying something. A lot of 2x2. I just don't think they've had enough practice itself to learn how to get that 3 wide and trust the driver behind them.
But if you're in the back, you got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what practice you got. Go into the unknown.
It reminds me of the 80/80 package that we brought for the World 600. Now, for the ones that remember, iRacing dropped a new aero package for the Gen 6, and it was a choo-choo train in 2021. That's all it was. And drivers were saying, we want a Gen 6 e-ticket. We want a Gen 6 e-ticket. How have we not had a Gen 6 e-ticket yet? And I said, we can go to Daytona with it. Let's figure out an aero package. They dropped the horsepower to 80%. They dropped the fuel to 80%. And somehow we're able to get 2x2, still with that single file train, still with some different moves, and drivers are going to punch through the air just a little bit more. It reminds me of that, where you have to be just a little smarter. You got to gauge it a little more. Before it was just slam drop, let's slam drop. Tandem drop, let's tandem drop. Side drop, let's side drop. Whatever it takes to help me out selfishly. I think the selfishness is now out the door when we get to the 9 to go.
Well, and talking to 9 to go, what you guys got to look at in the chat, it's going to be the top 19. 19th on up. They're the ones who are locked in. Everyone 20th on down, they're going to the LCQ. It's going to have 24 different drivers desperately trying to make the main event. The only one who gets to do that's the winner. So 19th, where Barbagallo is now, that's the position you got to watch, as well as, of course, the race for the win.
You got the drivers coming from the back to the front to try this all once more. You're going to be watching the finish here of Duel 1 at Daytona live on the IDK Player YouTube channel. Once again, I'm John Ramos, Jarrett Lundberg, calling play-by-play here in our studio at Nashville, Tennessee. Watching live from Daytona International Speedway. Chevrolets, it's been like that up front, but the Toyotas have tried to mount up a charge. PBR has been showing up. Nathan Scott gets back up to 8th after being in 19th. You just have to know how to ride that wave, and I think that 60 has figured it out.
And you also need to make sure you know how to not get washed out to sea by that wave on the third line if no one goes.
Try it just once more. 9 to go in Duel 1. And quickly gets to the bottom, goes Brademovic.
Definitely looked like a choreographed move. That front four seems to be working almost together, and they're lined up probably about through 8th or so.
Look at that. The entire inside lane has just said goodbye. All the way back to Yaroslav Donskoy. They have just quickly gotten through the gears, formed on up, maybe 9-10 cars deep.
Well, now you're starting to see the moves. Scott goes down low with Contreras. He's going to try and lead that inside line. For those on the bottom, when it comes to the top 20, you got to make a move.
Vincent Gucci down to the bottom. And Gavin Austin could come down here. He knows that top two are going to stay that way for quite some time. No, he's going to sit with them. And Vincent Gucci is starting to mount up a charge with 8 laps to go.
He's made it all the way up to the 3rd position right beside Mosteller. Doesn't stall out just yet. He's looking for more.
And he get him. Scott sealed in the back end of the New York Rangers Chevrolet. Behind it's Eladom Contreras. Ooh, Mubik nearly got turned to the outside wall. That was by Mosteller, their first mishap, but it keeps them tandem in front of everyone.
And it shuffles out Lane Sanders into the middle of the pack. He is going to fall back right to about that line. Actually, he's out. He's out.
Lane Sanders, unofficially as of this moment, first driver out. Max Steinmeier is in. James Bomar is out. We'll continue to monitor. 7 to go.
And it just keeps getting more and more intense. Gucci now has taken the lead back in the pack. There's more shuffling lines. 87 and 42 sticking together.
Oh man, PBR almost started a train and Gavin Austin shut that door. They were looking 3 wide on the outside of the 2. They're now back in that 2x2 train. Inside Vincent Gucci, outside Brademovic.
And now that bottom gets the run again, entering the corner. Gucci is clear. He can go up if he wants. He's going to stick with Scott for now. Looks like he's got it.
Yeah, it's all about what you got here. If you're in that top 8, you know you're transferring in. Do you want the $20 bonus? Go for the win. Gucci leads outside. Brademovic second. Mosteller third. Nathan Scott fourth. On that bubble, Kevin Champagne, Everett Counts, Justin Champagne, and others.
Bomar last one in that 20. Now it's Steinmeier. We're going to go back and forth to the checkered. You watch Couts here. He is right on that line next to Kevin Champagne.
And they're now looking 3 wide. Vincent Gucci jolted out of line. He's going to get the Jackson car machine. He'll also get Jacob Wilkerson, Justin Champagne. Heavy hitters behind him. Just up front, still leading Brademovic.
3 wide. That top line has some numbers to them. 4, 5 cars trying to make their way up 2x2 for the first couple rows. Movic is ahead of them all, and you're seeing all the shuffling. 5 laps left.
Trying to buy in, sell out, whatever it is before the closing bell. 5 laps to go. You saw Jackson Byes jump to the outside. You see the 45 machine, Michael Gregory, swing wayside as well. The inside lane comes apart. They're 3 wide. Give it 4 or 5 rows deep.
That inside line moving back and forth. Gucci gets a push from Bomar, and around goes Rowe. Scott coming back up the racetrack. He saved it. Not anymore. He's around into the pack with Perchatsky.
Perchatsky, Comstock, others. The caution will wave with 5 laps to go as Perchatsky will come to rest, actually slide down the banking and come just in between the transition of the apron and the racing surface. Sean Rowe, who is up front most of this race with heavy damage.
Mitchum involved.
Will Shack got a piece of it as well. Tyler Tinsley again. And there's hefty damage to the Squid Games 2 left front.
It looked like it was good to go for those leaders, but that pack 3, 4 wide getting shuffled back. Scott had it saved, came back up the track, made contact. We'll see what exactly happened in a moment, but a chain reaction. You're seeing some other guys, McLaughlin, Crawl, outs. They are guys who have been outside of there. Some of them not even in the pack. Now they are in with 4 to go in regulation.
I have to scratch my head. It started, around 10th, 11th position? I mean, they were not in the red zone. They were 3 wide. But we've also seen where it looks calm, it isn't calm. You can easily go from what could have been a 14th, 11th, 9th to 19th, 21st, 22nd. This is going to be a great view. Look at this, 3 by 3. It's almost like we were just hoping for this to happen around halfway.
Look at that 60 machine. He is up in the 5th position. It's him and Rowe up towards the front. Watch the push right here. He goes up the track.
I think he was just trying to get in front of Eladom Contreras, and once Eladom did clip the 60, Sean Rowe went for a wild ride. Scott tries to get back on the racing surface, 4 wide. Dang Deer, 5 wide. And that's where they all got collected. Let's tally them up. Michael Mitchum, Skylar Comstock got a piece of it. Nathan McLaughlin just getting tagged. Jeff Perchatsky, you saw Tyler Tinsley in 75, Yahir Rodriguez as well, and that's just to name a few. We saw the move, Kai Collymore goes below, puncture to the nose for Michael Mitchum, and they still weren't done. Yahir Rodriguez goes around once more. Nathan Scott gets into the outside wall, and Tyler Tinsley had nowhere to go.
And just like that, some heavy favorites and some really good super speedway drivers on the outside looking in, looking like they're LCQ bound.
Man,
it's rough.
So Scott coming back out in front of the field. He's now on pit road. Left side of your screen, whole new ball game from about 15th on back. Barbagallo was mostly out of this race most of the event. You now add in Will Shack as a possibility, Sean Rowe as a possibility when he was almost a guaranteed lock. Kai Collymore, as of this moment, first one in. Chase Crawl in 17th. Nathan McLaughlin in 16th. A lot of RGR guys. They were kind of just puttering around, burning the laps off. They are now currently in the show. Nobody is out of this race but Jason Hall, currently 4 laps down. He's going to need multiple cautions if he wants a shot. Perchatsky 2 laps down. Comstock, Yahir Rodriguez 1 to their deficit.
So there's 28 or so drivers, maybe 27, that are still well in contention for 19 positions through this pack. We see the leaders here, Mubik, Mosteller, Austin. Some of the fastest of the night, most aggressive of the night. It's worked.
And we are hearing that the admins are reviewing the Nathan Scott situation. They're trying to figure out, is it a L2 or an L1 heading to a green-white checkered, because that's currently the position we're in. So while they figure that out, we'll continue to pace. Mubik now the race leader. Mosteller will jump to the inside. And we're hearing a Nathan Scott L1 penalty. Jason Hall back on the racing surface. He's 4 laps down. Scott will be restarting in 27th.
And it's rough. You can still see the damage on his nose. But we're lined up for what hopefully is the final green-white checker of the race.
Well, we'll go ahead and see. Overtime in NR Night in America. How does it work, you may ask? Let's wind it down. We start, or should we say restart, the race. If we make it a full lap and see the white flag, the race is official. Next flag ending it. If we get a caution on the last lap, we'll have another attempt at an overtime finish. Top 4, all bow ties. 2 Toyotas from 5th to 6th. Chevy, 2 more Toyotas, and another Chevrolet, the top 10. The Fords, oh, they're outside of it. You have to go to maybe Kevin Champagne in 13th.
Yeah, that is not a good showing. The Fords have been a little bit off at the end of this thing. Still, it's Daytona. It's 2 laps on this restart. There's plenty of time to make your way back up.
Overtime, Duel 1. Great crowd on hand. Watching back at home this Tuesday night edition. Speed Weeks from the Clash at USA to the Battle of the Beach at New Smyrna to the Duels at Daytona. We're ready for a show. By the way, we've already gotten one heck of a show. We still have another race and an LCQ to follow. This will set the inside lane for the Florida 500 that will be live this Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central.
Here we go. You can already feel the intensity coming to this restart.
Pace car will make the hard left on the pit road. Mubik, Mosteller, both the M's have been household names in this set of duel. Will it stay that way to the finish? Overtime into a 1.
Looks like another choreographed restart with the 42 and the 87. They stay together. 3 wide already. Bice falling back.
Bice to the inside will pick up Vincent Gucci. And Jackson Carr with the PBR boys are on the scene. They'll be behind the Michael Gregory 45.
Top 4 looking like they got away for a moment. They're going to have a run behind them on the high side with Jackson Carr. A lot of blinks from that 09.
That's Vincent Gucci. He may be out of the race with packet loss just on this move with 2 laps to go.
And that's huge for Sean Rowe, who moves up into the position to transfer, coming to the white.
This is what it's going to come down to. Salamanca, 1 to go into a 1. Mubik, Mosteller, Gavin Austin, top 3.
On the bottom, Donskoy leads the way. He's got to push from that subway machine, trying to make a run.
What to do, what to do. Top 19 advance. Everyone else to the LCQ. Most sealed to the back end of Mubik. Donskoy needing help from the 33, but can't mount up a charge.
Gucci getting shuffled back in the middle, losing spots fast.
Does Gregory make a move? Does Jackson Carr make a move? Time's running out. PBR to the inside. This will be the finish at Duel 1. Donskoy back across the field. The big one off turn 4 as they scatter back to the line. Braden Mubik, Daniel Mosteller, checkered flag. Mosteller wins Duel 1 at Daytona by maybe just a 100th of a second. Who advances? Counts is in. Sanders is in. Will Shack is in as Sean Rowe heads to the LCQ.
Well, we're going to have to review it. A lot of guys getting through the grass. A lot of questionable maybe stuff. We'll have to see just to be sure.
And the first one will be Yaroslav Donskoy. Hooks it back left into the field. If he is deemed to go to the LCQ, Sean Rowe gets in to the Florida 500, and that means the first one out would have been Dominic Barbagallo. What a finish!
What a race, what a finish.
Unbelievable.
And some of the notable names in the last half of that field: Tyler Tinsley, Yahir Rodriguez, Kevin Champagne, Jacob Wilkerson, Sean Rowe. It's going to be a lot to look at here.
And we are hearing they're reviewing Yaroslav Donskoy, 2-time e-ticket champion, wins Duel 1 at Daytona. Mosteller victorious and will be leading the field of the green flag this Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central in the 2025 Florida 500. Unbelievable stuff.
Well, you know, Mosteller had talked about, I've never been in a duel before. I don't know how it's going to be for me. I'd say it's pretty good.
I think it was pretty good. Let's go ahead and talk to the race winner as he gets to celebrate in front of this beautiful crowd back at home. Most congratulations on the duel win.
Howdy.
Howdy indeed. Wow, what a race. And it became an energized one back to the line. Photo finish, you versus Mubik, two of the biggest names in NR. How are you not excited for this Friday if you're not?
I can tell you that was some great teamwork between us two. We absolutely dominated and a lot smoother than I thought.
A lot smoother indeed. Talk about this duel, talk about the different changes, talk about the finish.
Yeah, where do I begin? The finish? I was honestly, I was content just pushing him to the win, to be honest, but I was starting to blow up, but I'm like, they're all wrecking behind us, why not give it a go, you know? Yeah. If I get wrecked, I get wrecked. I'll probably still make it, and you know, got to the line first and got the duel. Pretty awesome.
And we are reviewing the Donskoy situation. Now the attention is being formed to that of Jackson Buys. They're saying Buys may have wrecked Yaroslav Donskoy in the driver's meeting. It was talked about. If you wreck a driver and you're already transferring in, you could be bumped out. The attention goes to Jackson Buys. Teamwork. It's going to make the dream work. Will it be this way come this Friday?
Oh, yeah. gotta have a friend. I can tell you right now, I would not have been in the front without Bubik at all. The way we were able to control the lanes, go low when we needed to, cool off our engines, it was just perfect teamwork, and that's what you need to obviously make it through the duels and to win races. And very clearly, I think we've shown to the whole field who's gonna be at the front.
Now, we do have a cockpit view for everyone watching back at home for the Yaroslav Donskoy incident. We're going to see if he hooks it right.
We need to watch on board with the 3 of Jacob Malone. Look at that. If you watch that 3 get through there, the seas parted. That might have been the best view of this crash from behind that we saw all night.
We're going to go ahead and, well, we're going to check on that in just a matter of moments. Here's Yaroslav really just trying to itch back through. So many drivers going through the grass to try to avoid. There was Mitchell Armstrong. He ducked it in the grass as well. Look at how low he had to go. We said if you have to go through the grass because the track is blocked, that's one thing. We're going to see, did Kevin Champagne? Yes, wow.
Yeah, he is out.
But he'll be leading the field of green in the LCQ from what we heard. Here's how they all wrecked. Back to the line, James Bomar, Lane Sanders, and others. So we'll wait on the official word. Mosteller, you got a great group back at home watching. 87-9, I don't think it matters.
Oh yeah, I can tell you right now, the change of scenery, I'm referring to the car number. I can tell you right now, it worked. Glad we're 1 for 1 right now. Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome indeed. This is on board for the viewers watching back home. Jacob Malone. You know, matter of fact, let's just go to the cockpit view. So we'll continue to monitor the situation and get the official word soon.
Can I say something real quick?
Go for it.
I want to thank all the boys at back at PCR for all the work with the engines. Great working with Muvik. For our fan vote Tyler Tinsley. He helps make all of my paint schemes. He's an amazing friend of mine. Vote for Tyler.
Vote for Tyler. You don't think Tyler's going to win the LCQ?
You never know. Just gotta say it just in case, you know. This is my opportunity to speak to all the people back at home. So if he doesn't go and win it, vote for Tyler.
Doesn't go and win it, vote for Tyler. Now we are giving an update here to all the admins. Please accept, I believe it is Chad Hornish. He did drop $5 on a super chat. Very grateful for that indeed. Please accept Chad Hornish to the league. That is, I believe, the last driver we need to go ahead and add if he has not been added already. We're going to get ready to set things up session-wise as well while we still wait and understand what exactly is going on with well, the whole situation now with Buys and Donskoy. So we'll get an official word soon of who is in, who is out. But man, what an ending to that duel.
It was awesome. Dream scenario for me.
Dream scenario indeed. Congratulations on that win. We'll talk with Braden Muvik here in just a moment.
Thank you.
So that was Daniel Mosteller. We'll continue to drag drivers in and out. Well, Muvik, P2, but you made the show.
Hell yeah.
Well, that's what we'd like to hear. Talk about what you experienced, what you learned.
Pure perfection. Honestly, that's what that was. That was the best duel I've ever run. Yeah, Demos and I had a plan really to try to help each other out. We were calling out. We were basically each other's spotters all race, and we were working really well with Kevin and Justin in that first half of the duel, and yeah, pit stops happened. I was really surprised. I didn't see either of the Champagnes the rest of the race, but once we got into position, to Demos and I, we can. I mean, you can see, like, you can make moves. Like, I was shooting top, bottom, all race long. Like, you can make moves as you had to, which I really like. And it takes a lot of talent to get that bottom going. Like, you gotta know what you're doing down there to make moves happen. But yeah, Demos was a little bit uncomfortable with how much gas he had left before the last caution, or the two cautions, second last caution, I should say. And we performed a pretty easy swap, and yeah, we pretty much just controlled the race, looking out for each other, giving each other temps when we needed it, and yeah, I don't think you will ever see a more perfect duel from two teammates ever again. Finish right where we started, in the exact same car positioning we started, right side by side.
We are getting an official word on the wreck. So Jackson Buys did go out and wreck Yaroslav Donskoy. For the ones that are wondering what we're going to do, so left side of your screen, here is the top 20. We have been reviewing it. We've been monitoring it just to get an understanding of the whole situation. Jackson Buys is headed to the LCQ. The admins have officially said yes.
No, he finished there anyway. He finished 27th anyway. He wasn't gonna make it regardless. But yeah, I don't really think that's.
Oh, that is correct.
Like,
Jackson Buys would have already been out. So the top 19 is the way it is.
Yep. I don't really like. Again, it was technically his fault, but I mean, you're coming to the line. It's a little bit of a stack up. He couldn't really see through the guy in front of him, so I'm trust me.
You have a little remorse for him.
I give Jackson Bias the most flack out of anyone almost, but that wasn't fully on him. That was a racing deal more than anything. But yeah, really happy to be starting in P3 in the big event, and yeah, I got $5 out of that. So, Demos and I told agreed like whoever wins gets $10. We'll give the 5 to the other person, then 5 to Barb, just for pity. We'll give
just for pity. Well, he's also the sponsor as well for that. Hey, you got a great amount of TV time, huh?
He really did.
What do you think of this crowd, man? What an amazing crowd on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm actually pretty impressed, to be honest, with this crowd. I mean, we got 457. Holy crap.
And we're getting ready to set up Duel 2 here in just a matter of moments. But it is unbelievable what we've been able to really watch tonight heading into the Florida 500. So the top 19 are set. Everyone is locked in from the top 19 currently on the left side of your screen. Mosteller, Movic, Austin, Carr, Gregory, Contreras, Champagne, Malone, Collymore, Crawl. Mitchell Armstrong with a bold move to make the show. Michael Mitchum, Vincent Gucci, Max Steinmeier, Yaroslav Donskoy with James Bomar, Everett Counts, Lane Sanders, and Will Shack. That's the inside lane of the first 19 rows. Duel 2 is coming up, Movic. What can you expect?
I think you're gonna I think after this first duel, the other drivers certainly got a look to see like what they would be able to do, especially if they're in like the top 8 or around there. But once you get in the back, if I was them, I'd be a little bit nervous. If I was anything below 10th, I'd be a little bit nervous about being able to make moves up to the front. So I expect a lot of guys to get pretty desperate late in the race. So it's gonna be really fun for me to watch. I'm gonna say that.
And you're in the show, but
I'm in the show. I'm starting 3rd for the second e-ticket or the second Super Speedway e-ticket in a row here. I'm really happy where I'm starting from. So,
yeah, I was about to ask. I mean, you've been in the position before where you haven't made the show or you're on that cusp. What does it feel like from this positioning you're in now versus maybe the Florida 500 in 2023?
I think you mean NWP, but
excuse me, NWP.
But yeah, it's definitely a roller coaster of emotions. You know, NWP, I was leading the bottom line. I was in like 5th. I got turned. Got sent to the LCQ, and then circumstances didn't play out in the LCQ the way I wanted, missed the show. And yeah, coming back and really feeling in control, confident in myself of what I'm able to do. It's a night and day difference, I can tell you that. I mean, I always pick the first duel because I'm of the attitude of I just want to get this over with. But when you pick the first duel with that type of confidence and energy and you don't make it, that second duel is the longest race you'll ever watch. I would just be sitting there with my heart rate like 110, just thinking about what if you don't make it. And luckily I'm not in the LCQ, and yeah, thankfully I don't have to think about not making it because I whoop that ass.
Oh my goodness, heck yeah. Well, you just mentioned how many people are watching back at home. What do you want to say to them heading into this Friday?
Thank y'all for watching. Y'all are a great crowd, and be sure to cheer on for your boy. Vote Tyler Tinsley for the LCQ.
Wow.
Vote for Tyler Tinsley. He's the reason why all of myself, Demos, all of us. That's the reason why we look so good on this racetrack is for y'all. Because he does all the work. He does all the work putting these race cars on the track for y'all.
Well,
Vote him in if you want the best paint schemes in, because his is actually pretty cool too.
good news for all the viewers watching. Duel 2 session is up. Once again, Duel 2 session is up. The password, well, if you're already in the league, you already know it. So we'll get ready to go racing here in just a matter of moments. We're going to bring it back trackside after we come back to our studios here in Nashville, Tennessee, kind of just to have an analysis of what happened, regroup, re-roll here from the World Center of Racing. Braden Movick, you'll be starting inside lane, row number 2, come this Friday. Congratulations on such a strong duel.
Hell yeah.
Well, Jarrett, I mean, textbook from the teams, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was the best teamwork I think I've seen in an e-ticket. Honestly, maybe ever. I don't know if I've seen two drivers work together that well to keep themselves out front. We saw it in the LCQ of the NWP 400 in 2023, I believe. But that was more, not as much competition, not as much having to go back and forth with as many people in the field. This was, it was a clinic.
It was. It kind of shocked me, and luckily it was the most notable names, right? We saw the most notable names up there for some of the viewers that were coming on in, but yeah, big shift from what we're used to, at least with the next gen. I mean, that's the biggest takeaway that at least I can watch. Now, Duel 2, they're talking about that is going to be the most stacked duel, where you have more veterans in the field. Now that you know that, now that you feel that, what are you thinking here? More 3 wide? Because we saw 3 wide with about 10 laps to go.
Probably later. I don't see people putting themselves in a bad position. We saw guys with 30, 20 to go at times, putting themselves in bad positions, getting crashed. I think now you kind of learn like what you can get away with at this point. I think that overall we've seen that track position though. That is the biggest thing. Is you can't make your way up the way you could maybe in a Gen 6 race, maybe with some of the other cars. You got to stay towards the front. That's what the 87 and the 42 proved today. I mean, they were up front all race long. They never allowed themselves to be put into a bad position, and because of that, they are the safest ones. They are starting at the front on Friday night.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see with how that all goes down. Now, we're going to be racing in the daytime this Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. The duels are the only ones at night. The LCQ will follow this. Once again, 24 drivers will be racing in the last chance race to make that one final spot before the fan vote. You're already starting to see the political campaigns.
Yep.
You got the Dew crew saying, vote Nathan Dew. You got Tin Can for Tin Can. But Kevin Champagne did not make the show, and that's our big whoa moment.
Oh, that's the thing, too. You could have more. You could have more whoa moments, and then at that point, somebody is probably not going to be making this race, depending on the way that the votes go and everything like that. So already, that's the first big domino to fall.
It is. We have joined the session. We're waiting for all drivers to come on in. One duel down, one more duel to go. We're going to pause 30 seconds just to reevaluate things with the equipment, and we're going to be back ready to go racing. You're watching NR Night in America e-ticket for Speed Weeks, as we're just days away from the Florida 500. I'm John Ramos. This is Jarrett Lundberg. just found out the entire time. So apologies on that. I want to say thank you to everyone that quickly let us know. Let's go back to what we were talking about. We're here in duel number 2, having the opportunity to be presented itself. We're waiting on just a couple of drivers still to connect so we can get going. Horley, Thurston, Thornquist, so thankful for everyone that talked about us being muted. But the standpoint lies. We got drivers that have been here long term. We got drivers that haven't been here long term. We got guys that are ready to go green flag racing. Brummett, he was an underdog at one point. He's in this duel. He hasn't really ever had to go through a duel minus the NWP from this year.
And you know what? He is one of the best super speedway guys out there. He's time and time again proven he can keep himself out of different accidents. You look at some of the other names that are on this board. Douglas Newbigging, all week, it's basically just been comeback after comeback after comeback. We saw it over the weekend as well. And you got Aiden Walker out there. He's somebody who's probably going to be running at the front of this race. This is going to be a very, very stacked duel. And with what they've learned from the previous duel, I think it's just pedal to the metal immediately from the back. Because you saw before, the ones that just sort of laid off for a bit, well, they fell off the pack, went a lap down or so, and you can't ensure that you're going to have a bunch of crashes just help you out and get you in position like some of those guys did. Drew Jua's in this race.
Drew Jua's in this race, and we remember his crazy finish between him and Daniel Mosteller. Something about the next gen that gives us photo finishes in e-ticket events. I go back to the Geico 500 in 2022, the Florida 500 as well. And we've had great finishes with this car, the Great American 500, the Chicagoland 500, and it always produces great things. I just wonder now kind of what's next here, because you expect the Drew to make the show. You expect the Truel to make the show. You kind of expect the Kenny Reel to make a show, Adam Garza. But we also expect the Kevin Champagne to make the show. He didn't. What's kind of going to happen here?
I think you're going to see probably more shuffling unless there's been deals cut and made. I mean, you got guys, Thurston, Armstrong up there, Schmidt, Walker, like, those are some big, big names that will be competing. Yeah, Burns back there in 13th. Malik Ray starting 15th, already in the danger zone. There's a lot of these guys we see week in and week out competing, especially at super speedways, and they're going to have to do some work.
And we'll get ready to lock and load. They're rolling off for duel number 2. You're watching the Duels at Daytona, presented by Sanders Racing Designs. And we'll get ready to line it all up here in just a matter of moments. And we're going to talk about who is in what position leading to green. Time to do it all again. Just that Florida feel that we always love. Gotta love all the sounds, the sights, the beautiful cars on track. Let's get to the grid. And actually, we're going to start from the back to the front. How about that? Let's start there. Starting from the rear, Chad Hornish, Patrick Connell.
Right ahead of them is Christian Delgado and the Dew crew, Nathan Dew.
Row 14, Sierra Clampers got the work her way through with Mateo Ortiz.
Row 13. A little bit of a minute for it, but Brad Gutierrez and Connor Zola.
Row 12, you have Presley Sora and Alex Bell.
Row 11, we got Riker Byram and Matthew Baker. That's going to be a potent row.
Row 10, Kenny Reel is back with Alexander Balderas.
Row 9, Adam Garza and Dean Brummett, 2023 NWP 400 champion.
Row 8, locked in, Malik Ray and Jerry Rodriguez.
Row 7, we got Spencer Burns and Davis Lewis.
Row 6, Douglas Newbigging and Drew Jua.
Entering the top 10, row 5, Frank Horley in that 22 machine now, and Zachary Truel in the 28.
Heading into row number 4, Abraham Vila sees what he can do with a brand new scheme, and Kyle Turzak trying to put the Super Speedway in Speed Weeks.
In row 3, Chad Thornquist in that 67 machine looking to make his way to the very front. Frank DeAngelis in the from Ford.
Row 2, Aiden Walker and William Schmidt. The SKS boys are lined up 2 by 2.
And kicking it off from the front row, James Thurston, as well as Joe Armstrong, 2 of the best in NR.
we get the one to go this time by. If you're wondering how we got our graphics to look so good, look no further than SKS Graphics. You can hit up Andrew Schulte through the Discord or find his email in the Discord, the IDK Player Discord. Makes all the great graphics and is willing to design for you as well. Once again, SKS Graphics, so thankful for them. If you want to know who designs, just ask Andrew Schulte in Blue Carpet. Line up 2x2, the whole mass shuffling. If you're wondering some of our technical issues, we're just making sure all 19 were in, all drivers were in this duel. It's not just commentating behind the scenes, you're producing, you're shuffling, and honestly the best part of when it all gets going is when we let them loose 2x2.
And we're half a lap away from doing that as they crawl down the super stretch.
Duel 2, same thing applies. Top 19 in this duel. Advance, 20th on back. Welcome to the LCQ. Frank Orley from the 2 to the 22. An e-ticket winner also at this track. And that came in the first ever e-ticket event, the Dynaco 400. Kyle Turzak, he's won tournaments. He's won multiple things on the short track side, but can't really, as of this moment, find that feel on the super speedways. Does that change? Abraham Vila's back in the number 1 Crown Royal Purple. You can't miss it.
And you look through the field too. I mean, there's some other really, really good notable drivers. So there, Adam Garza runs up front a lot of these super speedways. He's going to have to make his way forward as well.
2x2, that pace car will make the hard left onto pit road. It will be Toyota, it will be Ford leading us to green. Duel 1 was a blast. What do we see here in Duel 2? Let's find out as we light the fuse from the world's center of racing. Armstrong on the outside, Thurston on the bottom, and we're hearing there's already an issue. Alexander Balderas had his wheel turned off, under pacing, already going to pit road.
Man, that is not the time to have it happen. Up front, though, Armstrong with a push from Schmidt. He's going to get the lead. They were even for the first half lap. Now coming out of 4, that double mint Toyota has control of the field.
And it looks like it may have affected Nathan Dew, the winner of the LCQ and the NWP 400. Armstrong will lead lap 1 with, I believe that's William Schmidt to his outside aid. And it's got 2 the Toyotas wound up. Already drama before we even completed the first lap.
Yeah, already. And looking back through the field, it's looking like, yeah, Balderas all the way in the back. Nathan Dew 8 seconds behind the pack. Same with Drew Jua in 30th.
Malik Ray sits 29th. Chad Hornish 28th. So big names already behind the 8 ball as we enter turn 3. Armstrong, Schmidt, Frank DeAngelis, the top 3. Kyle Turzak has gotten 4th. It's not as feisty as we saw, at least trying to learn-wise in Duel 1. They've got a great basis for it, and you're starting to see some of these guys that aren't really teamed up together, just trying to find a buddy in the moment.
Yeah, still 2 lines like we saw before, but they're already very broken up. I mean, you can just see there are just cars scattered behind them. 3 in a group here, 2 in a group there, 1 on their own. And meanwhile, you're starting to see different guys move their way forward through this pack.
Yeah, you're starting to see also just 3 cars isolated towards the back half. Christian Delgado, Sierra Clamper, Chad Hornish. Way back, there's Malik Ray. There's Nathan Dew. 3 wide, here we go. It's about 3 or 4 rows deep.
Yeah, the train is a-moving, and now it's going forward fast to the front. Douglas Newbigging up into the top 7. 6 looking for a top 5 position. They're 3 by 3 through the pack.
Man, it is on from Daytona. No one giving in. Newbigging in the middle. Matthew Baker there as well. Top side, that's Frank DeAngelis, Zachary Trull, and Schmidt had to go on the defensive. Now he works the bottom of 1 and 2.
And now, just as fast as it formed, one line gets away, another one starts to form up again on the bottom. And Garza in the 8, you see him here, he's leading that middle line. Well, not for long.
3 by 3, give it maybe 4 or 5 rows deep. What can Lewis do? He's not on his own, but he is leading the outside herd. Joseph Armstrong, who had the opportunity to sit and hold the top spot, now falls to the clutches, nearly puts the Angeles in the wall, and they're wrecking in the tri-oval. Davis Lewis around, 4 wide, maybe more. Dean Brumman as well got a piece of it. The caution will wave. I don't see any serious damage out of any of the drivers. 2 cars around in the center of the field, and somehow they all make it through.
Just too many incidents so early on in this race, but you saw the front 3-4 guys, they managed to just get away. They were, let them keep racing behind us, because we're racing just fine.
Unbelievable. And there's Patrick Connell, the Ironman Chevrolet. Left side damage, left front damage, actually, on that number 10. Wow. And he's sparking it up.
See, we thought that they would ease into it, you know? And now they start out the race, first 5 laps, 3 wide from the get.
Okay, so we know 3 wide is possible with the package. You kind of look at Duel 1 a little different, maybe saying, I think it was just team games that kept it 2x2 for so long because they quickly punched through and didn't look back. How we didn't wreck any more machines beyond me. Here's Patrick Connell. He was deeper in the field. And this is coming to the incident. Look at this. Garza, Real, Brummett, others just 3 wide. And Matthew Baker and 9 saying the 9 is mine, quickly becoming a household name up front.
Yeah, he is moving forward, and you start to see others bail out. That might have been the smart move here. And just as fast as you thought the middle was going away, it forms right back up. Here goes the high side, and you just see kind of the accordion, the domino effect through this pack of energy.
Now let's see from here. There's DeAngelis. Now Joe did swipe him in the wall. We really caught that live, and Davis Lewis just didn't have anywhere to go. Jerry Rodriguez got in the back end of him. They all start scattering quickly. How does Connell get that damage? That's the real question. And it's going to be Presley Sora getting right into the left front, then putting the 84 machine up into the wall. That's Brad Gutierrez. It could have been a lot worse, I'll tell you that.
It really could have.
I've been to Daytona multiple times. You reckon the tri-oval, get out the scorecards. How they're all still running, shocking.
Well, and with that too, them pitting, just slowly chip that, or not even slowly, quickly chip that fuel mileage side of it out.
And this is a big win for Nathan Dew. This is a big win for some of those drivers that may have been impacted. 1 driver out of the race already, Alexander Balderas. Wheel issues. He can make the LCQ, but already put in a bad scenario. Matthew Baker will be coming out 3rd, Douglas Newbigging 4th. When you have a textbook duel, the next page is usually the wild duel. I'm not saying it's going to be like that for the next 44 laps, but we saw it with the last time we went dueling at Daytona for the NWP 400. Duel 1, we had a caution, lap 1, turn 1.
And then we went green the entire way after that.
So you never know what truly can happen. Kyle Terzak's up the 2nd. And we get ready to restart this one. Let's talk to some drivers and hear exactly what may be unfolding behind the scenes as we get ready to try it again. We'll get the 1 to go this time by. Let's talk to Patrick Connell. Connell, John Ramos, you got a copy?
What's good, John?
Left front damage, we saw it. Is it fixable or are you back going?
Well, first off, I'm very thankful to be here. All glory and praise to Jesus Christ alone. But I don't really know what happened, John. I got to be honest with you. I didn't have that much. I hardly hit the guy. I was like, awesome, we made it through. I got a bunch of positions on that. I saw myself in 18th. I was like, dude, I just hold this here. And all of a sudden I get a meatball flag and I pulled it into the pits. I was like, there's no way I got damage. And it says too much damage, we're done. So I guess we're heading on over to the LCQ and we'll see what we can get done. But yeah, it just wasn't, hey, you know, you can't win them all, right?
You can't win them all. Well, we will say this. We're watching, monitoring, keeping an eye on things. It looks like it's not over for you as of this moment. We're glad to hear that, but you're already 1 lap down. We'll see what happens. You know anything can happen here at the World Center of Racing. We'll get the one to go this time by. We'll continue to watch, see, hear, try to get some drivers' info before we get back going. Spencer Burns has worked his way up. Frank DeAngelis has worked his way up as well. Others drivers trying to figure out what's next, what's the next move after that. And as of this moment, we are seeing Kyle Terzak, William Schmidt as the front runners. Okay, here from Daytona. Woo, catch your breath because we're going to get ready to try it all again. This is the Florida 500 Daytona Duels presented by Sanders Racing Designs. Sanders Racing Designs. You can go ahead and check them out. Link to all the trading paints are down in the description below.
Oh boy, here we go. All right, just breathe. Take a deep breath, and hopefully you don't have to hold it for the entire 43 laps, but you just might, John. You just
might. You never know. Toyota Chevrolet lockout, road number 2. Aiden Walker. He's lined up. Back there in the 4th position.
So, over under turn 3 or earlier or later, do they go 3 wide again?
I would say 3 wide, lap 2. I think someone's going to try to move something on that chessboard that's going to catch others off guard, but you just do not know. Schmidt on the outside brings him to green. 42 to go in duel 2. Terzak, Matthew Baker not giving up on the inside lane. They have an isolated form outside. That's what's working well as Douglas Newbiggin gives a charge to William Schmidt.
Armstrong had a bit of a either poor restart or had laid back a little bit. Now gets the run back. 4th on the high side. Terzak with a push from Baker on the bottom. Thurston right with him.
Oh man, you're starting to see everything kind of just work well for that outside lane. Davis Lewis is closing into a charge. Spencer Burns is there as well. A lot of air pockets for drivers to move around and stretch. It's not that gridlock we see with the Truck Series. 3 wide, here they come, at least trying. Frank Horley, Frank DeAngelis looking to the outside, heading to turn 1.
Frank squared on the outside, in the back, 3 wide already as well. You're seeing how racy they are through this pack. Up front, Terzak, Baker get a bit of a run past the field, tandeming away.
Tandem. I think it's going to be a bigger showing come this Friday, but no one's been able to break away to maybe more than 2 or 3 car lengths.
Joseph Armstrong on his own on the high side, whether it was a blink or just a bad move, but he is all alone. Bottom line's going right past him now. He's still stuck 3 wide for about the 9th spot. He needs a place in line, has a few going with him.
And we told these drivers, if you're blinking, the admins are going to catch it right away and tell you to get to the back. We don't need you up front blinking. Joe should be, if I'm not mistaken, given an L1 possibly shortly because it's not going away.
No, this has been the 3rd or 4th time it's happened. 3 wide behind him. He's going to take it 3 wide up there even with the issues.
Yeah, he's going to try it again. Looks top side of Brad Gutierrez. Gutierrez will keep him in check.
And that shuffled out Frank DeAngelis. He's to the back half of this top 20.
All right, you still got some notables on that bubble. A lot of racing left to go. It's not really the worrisome moment yet. For Armstrong, it's fix it now or deal with it later. Schmidt leading, Matthew Baker on the outside. The 9 at Daytona stays alive 2 by 2.
Matthew Baker, a man on a mission, back and forth, blocking away. Still the blinking issue for Armstrong on the high side as they're side by side for the lead up front. 9:79, Schmidt, Baker.
It feels like the pace is a lot quicker than it was in Duel 1. I mean, I'm on a question. Were they saving fuel? What were they doing in Duel 1? Because this is just such high energy. Still 3 wide now, Jerry Rodriguez in the middle.
Maybe they were playing it safe. They certainly aren't here. Frank DeAngelis top to bottom, elevator dropping on the middle of the pack. 3 wide still throughout. That's Gutierrez leading the high side.
And Matthew Baker, the race leader. You can see them lined up 2 by 2 behind. behind. Now 3 wide it is. Aiden Walker, Spencer Burns mount up a charge. Exit of the tri-oval. They'll get slingshotted. Should we say slam to the bottom? Schmidt holding off Walker. Baker holding off Burns.
Good Baker has showed up for sure. So has Burns. So has Gutierrez. They all racing at the top of their game. 3 wide now for the 3rd spot. 2 leaders have to split which ways. That opens the door for Burns.
And it is on its rush hour from the World Center of Racing. Garza's mount up a charge to 3rd. He has Alex Bell trying to make his first start in an e-ticket event. That's back in the 5th position. Nathan Dew, welcome up front. He's climbed to 7th after having to be off the pace with Alexander Balderas.
Up front, Garza is now beside Baker. He's going to lead at the line in that 2005 Dale Jr. scheme. 8, 9 going for the lead. 3 wide, bouncing off in the middle. That's Drew Jua in the 5 car, now flying to the back of the pack.
And the Starbucks Ford says adios. He's out of here. May pick up Dean Brummett in that 07 machine. Garza, new race leader. PBR, the 8 machine out front. Jarrett, you grew up a big Dale Jr. fan. You saw this scheme race, if I'm not mistaken.
This is the first race I ever watched, was that scheme. Earnhardt versus Gordon, Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, got Kurt Busch, all of them up there. Wasn't up front as much as this car is tonight, I'll just say that. But still, racing up the front, the Great 8.
And he's got William Schmidt. He's got Matthew Baker, Brad Gutierrez, something to prove with Davis Lewis back in that 5th position. Hello, Alex Bell. Nobody knew about him entering, but they're about to figure him out pretty quickly. Presley Sora is back there, the ARCA Menard Series driver, sitting in the 11th position. And Chad Thornquist has not gone quietly into the night. Welcome to 12.
Well, and someone else you'll notice is not in this main group that's racing up front is Joseph Armstrong. He has dropped to the back of the pack, just trying to play it safe for now early on. He's outside of the top 20 even. Up front, though, they are racing very hard. That 8 of Garza blocks down again, this time over Horley. And Spencer Burns looking for a gap. Doesn't make it happen.
Man, Garza's known for blocking, but he can get turned for blocking that hard. He wasn't clear on Horley. They made contact in the tri-oval, and the Fireball 22 is now right smack up front with Spencer Burns sitting in the 3rd position.
John, what I'm noticing about this pack compared to the first one is no one is really that much together. This is probably the most spread out, connected pack we've seen tonight. And up front, you're just seeing, on the high side especially, that line trying to form up, trying to make something happen.
And you know what? I don't hate it. I'm just going to point that out right now. Duel 1, I was skeptical. I was like, man, they're 2x2 a lot. No one's able to mount up a run. Duel 1. Here in Duel 2, it's just haymakers. And what we saw with the old Aero package was slam draft, slam draft, slam draft. And every time they would hit each other, you would kind of just wait, embrace, and wonder. Here, they have so much room to work with. It's going to be ever changing. This is what we could also see come Friday.
It really is. And what we could see is this side-by-side racing for the lead up front, where it's now Garza and Horley. Horley in that Fireball machine is firing on all cylinders to the front.
Yeah, he's doing a great job at it too. Behind him, he's got Aiden Walker. Outside lane, kind of scarcely moving around. Drew Jua found his way in front of Sora. Behind it's Bell, behind it's Dew and others. 33 laps to go, and Frank Horley, hold on, because Adam Garza just swiped the back bumper.
This is what we saw for most of the first duel. We saw this 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, and so on and so forth, and somebody controlling the pack. This time Horley has got it under control just for now. Garza, though, is challenging on the high side.
Do you think we settled in?
I don't know, because they're still jittery. There's still guys getting loose, changing lanes. I'm not saying that they have it settled in until we see it. Thurston nearly used the apron to make a pass. Thought better of it, though.
Spencer Burns up to the 2nd position. This is behind the Budweiser 8. And I have to say, at least early on, we're seeing the Spencer Burns that's poised for victory lane. He is just sealed like rails to the back half of that 8 machine.
He might have something to prove tonight, and he is making a heck of a drive up there right between Garza as well as Schmidt. Down low, though, Horley still going to be making that move to the front with a push from Walker.
Now that's the SKS 93. Aiden Walker racing for SKS, racing a driver out of East Tennessee, races at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Now racing up front, trying to make the e-ticket event.
And John, there's some heavy hitters that are outside of the top 20 even at this point, let alone top 19. Now moving his way up is Thurston, but Armstrong back there as well as others. I mean, it's a star-studded field, and I'm looking through the top 20 as well, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't see Malik Ray up there either.
I don't. Let's go check in on Malik Ray. Trouble. We heard something deep in the field, and it's Sierra Clamper that goes up and into the outside wall on her own, comes back across, nearly took out Connor Zola, parks it in the grass. She will not get a caution unless the admins throw something. She's parked. I don't know if she's looking for it. Let's check backers with Mateo Ortiz.
They're just kind of tandem drafting here. Get a big run, it looks like.
And there's Malik Ray. Was that on her?
I don't want to see an aerial view or another view just to be sure, because it definitely was a bumper lock.
I think I saw Ortiz go up. She was going to go up with him, and just like that, Sierra Clamper's on pit road.
It probably was a late move for sure, but up towards the front, back on the ranch, it is Horley again flying up there with Walker Schmidt. That is a potent high side. They have taken control of this race a bit.
Wow. Scattered incidents throughout the night, and that's the thing, when you work your way back there, you got guys that probably aren't speaking to each other, communicating. I think that's what we just saw with Sierra and Mateo Ortiz. They're not in the same VC together. Matter of fact, they never interacted with each other. Mateo says, okay, I got a slow car in front of me and Malik Ray. I'm going to jump to the outside. Clampert wanted to join in. Mateo's nose was there, and around she goes. But since there was not oncoming traffic, and we did see one in Connor Zola, you're not going to get a yellow for it. It's not up front. We stay green. Frank Horley, the race leader.
Well, and we're starting to see what we saw in the first duel is where it starts getting more and more spread out as it goes. Guys falling off the pack, guys having different issues, getting themselves shuffled out maybe. We haven't seen that just yet. It's a matter of time maybe. There we go, shuffled out. It's Garza in the middle. Does anyone go with him?
I don't think so. Maybe yes so. Here's Drew Jua. Here's Joseph Armstrong, but not enough of a convoy to make it work.
Well, John, in the process of when we saw that replay, as Drew Jua now gets shuffled out, Spencer Burns got shuffled out. He's in the back half of this pack.
Bingo. Frank Horley, the race leader on the outside, and the fireball forward. Aiden Walker has been his best mate all race long, and with 28 laps to go, it's getting feisty. DeAngelo's to 5th, Sora to 6th, Riker Byram, welcome to 8th.
Well, and as Horley goes down to the bottom, gets right in front of Gutierrez, what these guys need to do, run it green. This is the top 19. These are the transfer drivers. This is the pack. Everyone else has fallen away. They just need to keep it safe. There's Davis Lewis leading a 3-car tandem, I guess, +1. They might be able to keep up. You're seeing the intervals on the bottom start to pick up a little bit. They need to catch up, and the rest of these guys just need to run green.
Wow, I cannot believe that. And we saw this before in duels. It would be the top 19 as long as it goes green. Yes, they're all in. But look at the shoving, because drivers know every spot is a different row come the main event.
When this 3-wide racing is opening the door for him, and from the back all the way to the front of this pack, Joseph Armstrong and Spencer Burns have made their way forward, and they're going to go for the lead.
Jumping top side, yes indeed. Back up top goes Joseph Armstrong. Burns with help in Toyota. Just like that, a Ford convoy will be moving to the bottom with the lone Chevrolet. James Thurston, Frank Horley, 2x2. You can't pass with this aero package, no doubt about it.
Well, and they're so spread out, those 3 behind them now are catching this pack back up. Look at, they're in the camera now.
And just like that, what was the top 19, now you look at 3 drivers that will be missing.
Now it's the top 22. There's 3 more back there that just need the right circumstances. There's still 3 wide through this pack, and they're all slowing each other down too. That's what it is. There he is, the 12 of Davis Lewis. He has caught the back bumper of Adam Garza.
And you know what? This actually fixed something that iRacing had an issue with. The front group would go 2x2. And what would happen? They'll start side drafting, but the second group wouldn't close in. The third group wouldn't close in. Matter of fact, the main group would pull away. because these drivers are side by side, others sitting maybe a second and a half, 2-3 seconds back, can set the hook and reel them in.
And that's what they're doing now. You're seeing these aggressive moves. 3 wide through the pack. More moves. You saw Riker Byram fly up in front of Nathan Dew.
Duel 2 is on. And it has been the showstopper. Look at this. Burns and Walker second and third trying to chase the Joseph Armstrong 81.
Well, and if you thought that was amazing, just wait for the second half of this duel as we're halfway, 25 to go, and it's just heating up.
Drew Jua in the middle. Remember, one of the more resilient drivers. He can go from the back to the front. Dean Brummett, don't look away from that 07. Had a great interview with him. You'll see it and hear it most likely come the Florida 500. He knows how to be in this position, be that lone wolf, and just make it in, and maybe win an e-ticket.
He just might, but look at that pack. Just they keep going back and forth, back and forth. Now on the bottom line, that's Drew Jua leading the way, trying to make his way to the front. And for the first time pretty much all night, Thurston, he's challenging for a top 10 position. He's got it.
Yeah, he's very much got it. And more separation back there. Adam Garza, Nathan Dew, Davis Lewis. I believe that may have been, yes it is, the Chad Hornish machine on the bottom.
Yeah, he's making his way up. He would be right there racing for the transfer with Nathan Dew.
Clock is ticking, laps are fading, but you still have time. Joseph Armstrong, who was up front to start this duel, is back. Burns isn't leaving him. Aiden Walker, I don't think they're leaving as well, but that inside line with Drew Jua and Frank Horley cannot be slept on. 3, 4, 5 Fords in one line.
And now the pack back to 2 by 2, just like they were in the first duel. But again, Armstrong, Burns, they are just on fire right now, leading this pack. Down low though, Drew Jua with a push from Horley. He is staying right with him.
And Frank DeAngelis has been the quiet one in this pack. We all know the antics of Frank DeAngelis. We all know it very well, and what has happened in times past, whether it's in a duel, a main event, an e-ticket event, an end or night. He is very animated, but oh boy, does he want to win this e-ticket event. I think back to 2023, I mean, defeated when he lost the e-ticket, which was then called Daytona instead of Florida. He's doing everything he can to show that he can win. I believe this is also his favorite e-ticket as well. Missing the show would just be gut-wrenching for him.
Especially in that car. He loves the show from, and he would love to win in the from Ford.
Oh, he loves from. Unbelievable. And you know, matter of fact, he got the whole Discord server to love from as well.
Man has a good taste for sure. Through this pack, though, you're watching other guys start to get shuffled through, and you got a pack now of 22. So the bottom 3, you don't want to be in the bottom 3. And by the way, if you look behind them, there's another pack that's starting to gain their way.
Yeah, that's Zachary Truel, Malik Ray, and Douglas Newbigging. Matter of fact, they were 6 seconds back at one point. I thought they were lost for good, but currently looking, they are closing the gap because up front they are 2 by 2 by 2. So they're not done yet at all. Armstrong, Baker, that's the top 2 off turn 2.
And again, that Armstrong and Burns, man, they are just on it. They are working well together. They've tandemed away from the pack. Now Burns going to get a little separation from him. The pack going to reel him back in. Did they get too far out this time?
I think so. Watch Matthew Baker in 9. If he has daylight underneath him, I think he may mount up a move. Will Walker go with them? Not going to be able to. The nose of Drew Jua will be there. So, yes, were they too far out in front? 100%. If the race was on the line, would they have been in jeopardy? No doubt about it. But we're starting to see these guys realize, hey, I'm 3rd, I'm 4th, I'm 5th. Why do I need to get aggressive, right? It's 20 to go. I'm not 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th in that bubble of concern. I can ride here, I can make it work, and then I'll go race for the e-ticket event come Friday.
You know, John, we have talked about just about everybody in the top 10 so far, except I think that 89 of Presley Sora, he has just quietly gotten himself in the top 10 racing with some of the best guys on the high side. He's got Walker ahead of him, as well as Baker, Burns, and Armstrong. He is set in a great row of drafters.
Yeah, Presley Soares is a really cool guy. If you ever get the opportunity to talk to him, spoke to him multiple times at IRP, Salem Speedway. For the ones that don't know, ARCA Menard Series driver. And he's very humble on the short track scene, whether it's in a late model sportsman, whether it's even on iRacing. One of the coolest guys to talk to, but wasn't talked about at all throughout all of Speed Weeks. Matter of fact, some forgot Presley Soares was in this race. Now you're starting to wonder what he's bringing from the in-person side to work with the simulator side. 6th place right now, not half bad for never competing in an e-ticket.
Well, and on top of that, I mean, he is one of the guys now in this top 6 when it comes to pulling away from the pack. They're basically controlling the field from the front when it comes to these leaders. He's right with them. He's doing an excellent job just playing it safe and getting himself in position. And look at that group behind him. They're closing.
At 62, Jerry Rodriguez with Dean Brummett, Nathan Dew, Chad Hornish. We talked about that group as well, that 3-car group. What was it, like 4.5 seconds back? No, 3.5 seconds now at closing. This is not over for Truel, Ray, and Newbigging.
Well, and they were over 6 seconds back a few laps ago, too. So just continuing to play it smart. They have plenty of time. 18 laps at Daytona is a long, long time. They just play it safe. They get that big run on the pack, and they might have just enough to get all 3 of them into the top 19.
Well, good news. We don't have to talk about pit strategy. Where you are currently, if we go green, could be where you end up. Could is the magical word. Drivers still closing in. You got some nuances with this package. You got some new challenges. You got some differences, whether drivers like it or don't like it. And you got others that are very happy to be in this position. You're watching the 4 to 500 Duels at Daytona presented by Sanders Racing Designs. Check out Sanders Racing Designs Trading Paints page down in the description below, or join our Discord server. Link to that is also updated in the description of this live stream.
John, ring the bell. That 15 car is moving forward, and they are pitting. There is pit strategy.
Whoa! They should have been good to go. Jerry Rodriguez misses pit entry. Did something change with how much fuel is allowed with this new update?
Well, it just might have been just too long of a run to be safe. You want to be safe with it. And just as we saw in the NWP duels back in August, fuel mileage is going to play a huge deal. Who's going to stay out now long enough to try and make the most out of it and do a different strategy?
It was all gas and go. It wasn't on anyone's radars. It wasn't on the admin's radar. Wasn't in the booth's radar. But the drivers themselves. Unbelievable. This changes everything. Here's Group 2.
They're about single file now. Do they come in this time by, or are they going to go long?
No, they're going to go long. We have strategy in Daytona.
Well, and you know what? You know who's in that pack that's closing in? We talked about him before, Malik Ray. Didn't he win a duel back in August with some strategy, or at least race for the win of a duel?
He did. And he had to get around lap traffic.
And they have caught that group too. Those bottom 3, they are there. I have a feeling they're all going to probably sit in line, or at least most of them will save fuel and just try and make it to the end. Maybe, if anything, you just do a gas and go real quick.
Yeah, he's not full on the throttle, and you can see it blip, 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 187. I mean, that's not even close to what we see from these guys. So fuel saving in this group is on. It wasn't in the other group, but can they close on in? Let's see the speeds, maybe out of a James Thurston, who is not with the main group. A Frank Corley, huge difference.
That is going to be very, very big. I mean, that's at least 15 miles an hour difference per lap.
I'm speechless. I'm surprised they came in, because even though, like we talked about it, they should have been in that bubble where you're going to make it. Maybe you got to save a little bit. Opens the door just wide open.
Look at those intervals right now. Right at this moment, Spencer Burns, Drew Jua, those are the ones that would be battling for that position. Of course, others might pit in front of them, but look at the interval between them and the main leading pack of Nathan Dew. They were almost 28 seconds back when I pointed it out. They are now 26, almost to 25. I mean, they are quickly closing in, and now they're going double file in this pack. Look, they are crawling.
I think Nathan Dew does not want to lead here, and you can just see how he was out of the gas exiting the tri-oval. He does not want to lead because he can't save fuel. This allows Malik Ray, who initially saved fuel on the restart, to drop on back, to now lead this field because he could be in the green.
But John, are they going too slow? I mean, since this point, a lap ago, it was almost a 2.5 second, no, it is over a 2.5 to 3 second drop. They have 13 coming to 12 to go. If they lose 2 seconds a lap, they're going to get passed.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting. And maybe they need people from that second group to start leading. I mean, you know Joseph Armstrong is going to be hard in the throttle. I mean, you can just see the speed difference. It feels a lot quicker. And you kind of have to question, because remember when we talked early in the show, no one talked about fuel. And none of the drivers talked about fuel. Were people in Duel 1 maybe saving at one point, which made it look like it was just a slower pace race.
This is going to be fun. I mean, you can just watch the intervals on the side. And John, that second group isn't gaining like they were before.
No, we're going to go ahead and check the speeds here. They're up to 190. It's not 195. It's not 197, which they were at one point, but they did get 194. So things are at least changing with this front group. There's William Schmidt. I believe he's going a lap down.
And he should be, I would say, fine the rest of the way on this thing. You're seeing Dew make a huge jump up there. But if you're somebody like Malik Ray and you're leading this pack and you're sort of running the pace a little faster, are you maybe thinking of running some of these guys behind you out of gas, have a bit of a buffer room behind you? I mean,
it's possible.
Think of it like this. Back as a Dale Jr. fan, I talked about a good race. I'll talk about a bad one on my end. In 2014, at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, Dale Jr. led coming to the white flag, but Brad Keselowski was all over the back of him, ran his pace further than he wanted to go, ran Jr. out of fuel less than a mile from home. Could this be? I mean, now he's dropping out of line, but this pace is incredibly fast.
Yeah, they've really turned it up, and it's coming to 10 laps to go, so we're in that wonder moment. Let's go to Aiden Walker, just in case these drivers make the show. Here's Drew, he's 20th. Here's Bell, he's 18th. Here's Armstrong, 17th. Davis Lewis is 14th. Aiden Walker is leading this field in 15th. If I'm not mistaken, not everyone in this group would transfer into the 4 to 500. Parts of them will have to go to the LCQ.
No, if those guys up there don't run out, the battle is between the 22 and the 5. Everyone behind that fireball machine is out right now.
Man, this is a head scratcher.
And look at that gap. They are not gaining much at all now. It's 10 to go, coming to 9 to go, and it's 22 seconds still.
And so many of them came in. That's the wildest part to me. So many of those guys came into pit road, and we still don't know what could happen. I mean, these drivers could have run out on the last lap, right? Maybe they weren't good, or maybe they saved so much that they are good now. Douglas Newbigging leading, Malik Ray in second, Frank DeAngelis in third. But it also scratches my head that if that wasn't the case, why would Joe come in? Why would Horley come in? Drew Jewett, these drivers that run up front all the time on a week-to-week basis.
Maybe some of these guys know something that we don't at this point. I mean, look at this pack. Look how spread out they all are at this juncture of the race.
It's such a unique feel to be here at Daytona, and they're single file giving space from each other. 20 seconds back, Aiden Walker, you're watching 15th to 14th or 15th to the race leader.
Well, and it's such a foreign thing for so many people watching to see a fuel mileage race at Daytona. I mean, there's only a handful of times that we probably could think of this kind of racing. 2017 in the Daytona 500, Greg Biffle's first win of his career in 2003. Meanwhile, in NR, this is semi-normal.
Yeah, and when that caution came out under the old package, they should have been good enough. They would have saved maybe a lap or two. That's about it. They would have restarted, not had an issue, run the rest of the way. But where that caution came out and what we still don't know with this update is just reforming what we could see come Friday. Newbigging jolting out of line. He's tired of leading.
This is the only time you don't want to lead at all. I know people say you want to be second on the last lap in a normal circumstance, But right now, you don't want to be leading this pack. You want to be third, fourth, fifth, all the way back. You don't want to be one of these first guys, because what happens if, I'm gonna drop out at this point. I don't want to be leading. I want to save gas, and everyone else slows down around you.
Yeah.
And you can't be the one who backs up. You have to be the one who is breaking through the air the most.
Now they have time. 19 seconds is the difference. Let's check in on Douglas Newbigging just to see what his speed is at. 187, 188. Malik Ray, the race leader, is getting up to 187, but you see the throttle blipping. Now he's out of the throttle. He's not full on just racing hard, and now he doesn't want to lead. It's like the
Look at him
cha-cha.
slow down. And each time they fall back to about the fourth position. It seems like almost this front four, they sort of are on the same page together.
I don't want to lead. This guy doesn't want to lead. The next guy doesn't want to lead.
They're losing time though now. They're starting to lose a lot more time. They are slowing it down a lot.
17 seconds, 6 laps to go. You see Mateo Ortiz way off in the distance.
But there's
Here's
no
Aiden
pack.
Walker.
Yeah, that pack is just getting off of turn 2 now.
Now you just see Ortiz now getting up to turn 3.
So John, if you're in the second pack, the one led by Walker that is now less than 17 seconds back, that is quickly catching up, do you stay patient? Do you trust the plan that they're going to run out or you're going to catch them? Or if you're somebody like Drew Jua, do you make that pass now? Get some insurance underneath you.
And that's the thing. And that's why I think those guys did not pit. Because everyone that did pit, I mean, you kind of look at it. Yes, you're closing in. You're 15 seconds back. You are the fastest moving group on the race leader than any other group in this field. But if you don't get to them with 2 or 3 laps to go, somebody, and I mean anybody back there will make a move. Sora is off the pace. Vila is off the pace. They lost the main group. Maybe they didn't get their car filled all the way, and that's some of the stuff you have to run into.
But the gap now is less than the super stretch. That back stretch at Daytona, that big long back stretch, that's it. They crossed the line just now. They're coming out of 4. They could catch them soon. It's about a straightaway. That's about what it is. But now 13 seconds. We saw it before with 3 cars who were 6 seconds back and caught up just racing normal. Now, 12 seconds, you can start to see them in the wide view coming out of turn 2 just about now. They're catching them, and they're catching them quick, coming to 3 laps left.
Let's put it on the board. Best lap by Frank DeAngelis, a 45.9. Currently running at 48.6, so they have severely dropped the pace off coming to 3 laps to go.
How about that pack behind them? What was their best laps? They were running 45.9s. They're even. They're making 2 seconds or so up a lap. 3 laps left. It ain't going to be enough without something happening.
No, something has got to happen.
They're so spread out.
I just don't think this main group trusts the process enough. And I think, believe it or not, that second group, they trust the process.
Oh, look at that. That's Turzak making a move now against Hornish. Hornish too slow for him. They need to get ahead of him.
Yeah, they have no choice. Matthew Baker is with Frank DeAngelis. Douglas Newbigging is with Malik Ray. Nathan Dew in P5 with Turzak up to 6.
Well, you know what Turzak doing that does? Do you know what Riker Byram now doing that does? That plummets their fuel mileage. I think they're thinking at this point, we got to make our way up front. We need the positions. And now we have one Balin. That's Truel. He is not going to make it to the end.
If you're just joining on in, brace. Fuel lottery at Daytona with 2 laps to go in Duel 2. DeAngelis, the race leader. Here comes Kyle Turzak on the outside.
Do you have the fuel? Do you have the fumes? Turzak takes the lead with Byram and Thornquist. It's go time for them. They're not waiting for anyone. That second pack with a lap and a half to go. 7.3 back. They're not gaining much. This pack is going for it.
Drew Jua is in as of this moment. Presley Sora is out. 10 seconds back. Turzak, Byram, Thurquist, Frank DeAngelis racing off turn 4.
Does anyone bail this time? Coming out of 4, looking at the main pack. Nobody's going in the main pack.
Salamanca, 1 to go in Duel 2 at Daytona.
Riker Byram with the lead. He said it was go time about a lap ago. Now he takes it with Thornquist, DeAngelis with them. They're all racing for it. Turzak starting to slow back. Nobody out of fuel yet. They stay true out of 2.
We see Dean Brummett, he's up to 4th. This isn't over for him. The West Texas driver, Riker Byram, thundering down the Daytona Superstretch with former e-ticket champion Chad Thornquist.
They keep it going in 3 and 4. Nobody running out just yet. This pack might be able to make it. The move for the win.
This is a sit on the front row for the Florida 500. Chad Thornquist to the outside. Kenny Real slides, spins, running out to the start-finish line. Chad Thornquist wins Duel 2 at Daytona. Baker is in. Burns is in. Joseph Armstrong is in. Yes, he is. Presley Sora, first one out. Wow.
Well, we got to see, too. There was a crash at the end of that race. The 40 was around. Is there any intentional stuff there?
But if he made the show, they should be okay. Frank Horley, he has stopped. You saw them running out of gas, coming to the start-finish line. What a duel at Daytona. Can you believe that?
No, I cannot.
And these drivers,
they're out of gas.
There they are. Chad Thornquist. Man, so many said that this was going to be the driver that missed. So many said he was done. It's over. Get this guy out of here. But the 2-time e-ticket champion will be racing for a 3rd.
And John, we were both wrong. Tursak, Burns both make it in as well.
Oh, I'm going to hear it in the Relaxed Yellows.
Yeah, we are. But hey, you know what? Good for them. That was a heck of a drive.
Usually it's good when you're wrong. Presley Sora, James Thurston are heading to the LCQ. Chad Thornquist will be on the front row for the Florida 500. Davis Lewis, row 2. Kyle Turzak, row 3. Frank DeAngelis, row 4. And our night in America, fueling victories all year long. It has been a great night. I just want to point that out.
And we still have the LCQ to go.
600 concurrent watching at the line. We hope to see you all once again this Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on the IDK Player YouTube channel. 500 miles, 40 event hours best in the 26 e-ticket event, the Florida 500. And the LCQ will determine who the final 2 drivers are that advance. Let's watch back on the finish. And you see them, they were running out, coming to the line. Here's Thornquist. Here's DeAngelis. Frank DeAngelis is in the show, and you see him wiggling. You see Riker Byram wiggling. Kenny Real, we thought it was over for Kenny Real. And he will make it in. This is just unbelievable.
Perfect. That was a perfect strategy. We saw 2 perfect strategies in both of these duels. The first one, we saw 2 people working together perfectly and about as well as you could. This one, we saw the perfect fuel strategy for what, 13 different drivers?
It's mind-blowing how that all came and went down. Alex Bell, first attempt at an e-ticket, he's made the show. Frank Horley, he's made the show. Nathan Dew, you don't need the fan vote, he's in. Same with Malik Ray and Douglas Newbigging.
Well, here's some big names who are out. James Thurston, out. Abraham Vila, out. Zachary Truel, out. Delgado also will not be in without making it through the LCQ. So William Schmidt,
unbelievable,
out as well.
Chad Thornquist, I don't think you're done. Welcome to the show, and what a win in Duel 2.
I won something this year, so you can't get on to me for that.
I cannot. And you know what? Not talked about in the media, not talked about in pre-race, not talked about in speed weeks. You come up, you show up, and you show out. What a win. What a strategy.
The strategy, so with that, it was after when Davis got turned. So I wanted to be up front the whole time, but then Doug sent it up the middle, and that's when I wanted to back out. And right after that is when the caution happened. So I went down pit road to pit for fuel and tires, and it was like really close. So the pits were open coming to 1 degree, so I went in, got that extra lap for a splash, and just kind of rode around mid-pack. me and Riker were kind of coming up with a strategy. We said 2 to go. If you have enough, just gas it. And so we went and just shot around everybody.
Wow. That is just insane. At the end of the day, I mean, you were able to get it done, man. That is huge. You put a Toyota on the front row. You're going to be toe-to-toe with Daniel Mosteller heading into turn 1 this Friday. The drive for 3 is alive. And I just realized something. The drivers leading us to green, both 2-time e-ticket champions.
Lubbock's third too, and he also has 2 e-tickets.
This is a great shot to see someone finally sit head of the table.
Pray to God it is me, because I don't really have luck when it comes to that like I did almost 3 years ago now.
Unbelievable. Session going up in 10 minutes for all the LCQ drivers. And we'll be, should we say 5 minutes? Session going up in 5 minutes for the LCQ drivers. You sit back, relax. What is now the mindset heading into this Friday?
1, don't crash it. 2, make sure I pit for fuel and tires every chance I get, because it works. It's like the Frank D'Angelo strategy. He does that every race when it works.
I want to stop you there. Sorry, I really want to stop you there. We got from our sources that you should have been good to go on fuel. We didn't realize it was that close, but are you shocked those guys pitted?
I thought more took fuel. That's, yeah, as many people that actually pitted because they couldn't make it, I could have sworn 90% of the field came in on, I think it was lap 6 to get fuel. So, understatement for being shocked.
Wow. You were able to make it to the end. Guys are running out, come to the line. Were you one of them?
Nope. I had enough to do a burnout.
You did. You did. We were reviewing some things during that. Well, congratulations on that win nonetheless. It's going to be a lot of fun to see really what happens next for you. I mean, you went from an afterthought to now the driver that we think has a legit shot. What do you want to say to these viewers back at home? I mean, so many are still from that era where it was Chad Thornquist winning all the time.
I'm glad I stuck around. I still see some people supporting me in the chat, even after I've been ghost for months. Also, hi Jared, I haven't spoken to you in a long time.
Hey, good to see you, man. Good to see you up front, too.
Yes, sir. I feel like I'm coming back to form. Also, it's really good that you keep me as an afterthought, because there's no pressure there, so in the shadows.
I mean, you know what? I'll throw John under the bus here. We were making picks of who to miss, and he was like, nah, that's too easy of a pick.
Like, Chad Thornquist.
No. He did the same thing for NWP when I had the 96. I remember that. And I almost got turned into poorly. That could have been bad.
Well, good job, man. That was a heck of a drive.
I surprised myself. I can't believe I won the thing.
We saw y'all go, and we're like, oh, all right, guess it's good. I guess they're good to go. Let's see if anybody else goes with them.
Yeah, no, Doug and Frank were like really close on fuel. They were, I don't know if you noticed, they were 10 miles per hour off pace because they were leading, and they were like 2/10, half a lap to the good. And so that kind of led me to save a lap, being around like 10th, 11th in the draft.
Good news for all LCQ drivers. Session is up. Password, you already know it because you are in the league. Chad Thornquist in this LCQ, you get to sit back, relax, but you know there's a fan vote. Who would you vote in if they don't already make it to the show?
Tyler Tinsley. That was easy. I had that made up.
Man, there's so many Tyler Tinsleys right now.
He deserves it, dude. He does not get enough love, and his luck is horrible. He's done too much for the community to not make it.
And I have to respect that for sure. Thornquist goes to victory lane, and you all watching back at home will be able to see him race this coming Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on the IDK Player YouTube channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe with notifications on, because you aren't going to want to miss the 26th e-ticket event, the 2025 Florida 500. Bringing it back to our studios here in Nashville, Tennessee. Nothing to review this time, so we're not taking that long. Jarrett, LCQ time. This is the most fun we get to have right here, right now.
So I've been taking notes through this as we go, looking at who's in, who's out. And you know what? if I didn't actually just pay to have this really nice notebook, I would throw it out the window. I would, because did we expect again to see a fuel mileage, it's a crazy race like that where there are people running out of fuel as they cross the line? No, we didn't. We had almost joked about it in the pre-race show. Had we expected them to go 3 wide as much after some of the stuff we heard? No, we didn't. And now you have 24 desperate drivers for 20, maybe more laps, depending on how it is. You have some really good ones. You got Presley Sora, who raced really well. You have William Schmidt, who's out of this thing. You have Balderas, who's out of it. You have Sean Rowe. There are so many good drivers. Kevin Champagne is in this race. Tyler Tinsley, the man of, I guess, the people for NR drivers. There's so many good drivers in this race. I don't know who to pick.
My gut has to say Kevin Champagne. It has to say Kevin Champagne's going to win this race, but you have James Thurston as well. James Thurston's in another LCQ.
Well, and you got the closer in there, William Schmidt. There's a reason we call him that. It's not just to be all cheeky and because we like Kevin Harvick. It's because he is really good at closing it out when the pressure is on.
I like to say this. You know why people enjoy the Indy 500 so much? Bump day. Just because you are a big household name does not mean you're locked into the show. We've seen big names in that event with us, the Indiana 500, the Indy 500 in person as well. The Florida 500 is up to that rank, as in, hey, get ready. You may want to tune in because that big name you see win all the time, he may not be racing come Friday.
Well, I mean, it's becoming a thing with the main e-ticket events between the Indiana 500, between Florida 500, NWP 400. It's like you have to make it in. And the thing is, we're also keeping track this year. There's a championship points to go after in this too. It might not be the main focus every single moment. We're not going to go full NBC on this thing, but it's still a big thing. So, I mean, look at on our end, we can see the drivers in this race. And it is a lot of a who's who. Abraham Vila, we barely talked about him in the moment ago. Wilkerson, who races really well in these races. There are going to be some extremely good drivers out. And the thing is, John, one other thing. I'm sorry, I know I'm kind of hogging the mic here.
Take it.
You need to make sure you finish higher too, because inevitably something happens. There's 40 drivers that are going to be in the race. One of them might have an issue. Maybe they're sick. Maybe their power's out, something like that. Next man up from the LCQ.
This is such a good LCQ. I think this is the best LCQ we've had since 2023 NWP 400. I mean, I have to bring that up. Schmidt, Champagne, Vila. I mean, you already mentioned these guys. Wilkerson. And how about some underdogs that you expect to do well? Beckman, he's won an NR9. Barbagallo, he's won an NR9. Presley Sora should not be in this field. Presley Sora should already be in the main event.
He raced well enough to be in the main event.
And James Thurston as well. But then you expect some guys, as you say, okay, yeah, you have to be in here. Sierra Clamper wrecking deep in the field. She was going to be in this field. Alexander Balderas, you got to keep track of your equipment. You probably just ruined someone else's opportunity. If that caution didn't come out, Yahir Rodriguez, just bad luck of the draw. This is going to be nuts. Jerry Rodriguez, his return after years, he's back. Zachary Truel, our open wheel specialist. Zachary Truel, Jeff Perchatsky, West Coast finest. There's so many names. There's so many opportunities, but only one's going to walk away without a fan vote.
Well, and it is basically split in this field, and maybe the chat can let you know who they think should be, which group should be the ones that win. It's basically favorites versus underdogs. There's really not an in-between.
Yeah. So we're waiting for those final guys to join on in. As of this moment, what a field. Oh man, what a field. Sora, Tinsley, Clamper. I'm happy the duels are at night because, oh boy, is this going to be really, really unique. I think I'm gonna feel it for some of these guys, and we are hearing it. Yes, everyone is ready to go. This is gonna be what we got to see who advances. We're gonna count it down as well.
I just keep looking up and down this leaderboard, John. It's insane.
It is insane. It's it's shocking that we see these guys, and it's going to go off of iRating.
Another one, Kenyon. He usually races at the front these super speedways. He can be pretty good.
It's going to be interesting.
He's hit or miss, but that's somebody else to look at. I mean, there's a lot of guys through this field.
We'll get ready to lock and load. Ford, Toyota, row number 1. Kevin Champagne, Jacob Wilkerson. Ready to lead this field of green. It's all off of iRating alone. Are we ready to see who's starting where? Because I for sure am. We just talked about row 1, PBR. Jacob Wilkerson on the outside. Kevin Champagne leading us to green. Nothing is guaranteed. And we know 20 laps, a lot can change.
Row 2, James Thurston, Abraham Vila, 2 of the top guys. Just about every week, every e-ticket event, you always see him up there.
Presley Sora, Arkham Menard Series driver. It's all or nothing with Jason Beckman.
Row 4, you got Dominic Barbagallo. He's somebody else who could have been up there, and Jeff Perchatsky as well. Raced pretty well until it didn't go right.
Row number 5, Brad Gutierrez, sponsored by the University of South Florida. William Schmidt, the closer. You are needed to close now more than ever.
Row 6, Beast and Balderas.
Skylar Comstock, time to dig in with Connor Zola.
In row 8, Yahir Rodriguez, Zachary Truel, 2 other pretty big names in NR.
Row number 9, Josh Kenyon, who was supposed to join only as an admin, has joined in with Sierra Clamper.
Then Mateo Ortiz and Christian Delgado, another good name.
Row number 11, Jerry Rodriguez, Tyler Tinsley.
Row 12, Jason Hall and Patrick Connell as well.
And that will line up all the drivers that will be racing in that LCQ. Winner shown left side of your screen the entire time. You're watching the Florida 500 Duels at Daytona presented by Sanders Racing Designs. It's now or never for all these drivers. And we're going green this time by.
Ooh, boy.
We love those American nights. We love drama. We love excitement. And we love e-ticket events. Welcome to the LCQ. Winner advances to the Florida 500.
To go in the first 2 races. That's when everything really heated up, whether it be strategy or just action. We're at 20 to go now and we haven't started.
No. And that's where we sit, we stand, we appreciate what's to come, because you know it's going to be a lot of fun. Opportunities arise, but only one's going to get it. Let's light the fuse in the LCQ for the Florida 500. No one jolting out of line. Kevin Champagne on the bottom, pushed by James Thurston. Jacob Wilkerson outside, pushed by Abraham Vila. Jason Beckman hasn't made a move, nor has Presley Sora.
Champagne, arguably the most aggressive driver in this field through his super speedway racing. Wilkerson, somebody who supremely can be underrated, takes the lead, blocks down low. He has control of the race.
He's got full control down on that inside lane. Wilkerson, Champagne. James Thurston as well is kind of just tucked on in, and the Wilkerson camp will move top of the racetrack. They'll lead lap number 1.
That means Abraham Vila in the 1 is going to lead that bottom line. Looking down to the bottom, Barbagallo made a move for a moment.
Blinking goes Beckman, not the time you want it to happen.
And that is not good at all for a minute. It's not good for that high side. Messes the whole line up to the front. Thurston now to the lead with a push from Sora.
Yeah, he's got the Fords on the bottom. Now should we say a Ford on the outside? Sora wanted nothing to do with the James Thurston 4. Now 2 by 2 they ride, just evenly up front. Wilkerson jumps wayside. Kevin Champagne stays in tow. Presley Sora, new race leader, coming out of turn 4.
He's got a good push from that 17, but that 43 push on the 4 hard. Thurston to the line, barely has it. Sora fighting back on the bottom.
Yeah, he's got it all wound up, and it's not over just yet. Deeper in the field, Mateo Ortiz, Connor Zola, Jerry Rodriguez, Zachary Truel. They haven't tried anything crazy. Jackson By, Sierra Clamper somewhat have lost the draft, are hoping for this place to ignite. Halfway down the super stretch, it's James Thurston.
Now is not the time to be holding back. This is the time for aggression. Make it up to the front like Wilkerson is doing with a push from Champagne. And back goes the 4 of Thurston.
Adios will pick up Jeff Perchatsky. Didn't come even for the 48. What a save. It could have been worse. Wilkerson leads once more.
Wilkerson, Champagne, Vila, and Beckman front 4 get away. Now the bottom has to fight back. 3 wide in the back, sliding, not going to have any impact on the front.
That's Sierra Clampert. She's below the yellow line. She'll lose the draft. Jacob Wilkerson, the race leader, top of the racetrack, but he's got the Hungry Hounds behind him. Kevin Champagne, Presley Sora inside, Abraham Vila outside. He won in the last dinner night in America. He said, this is the best opportunity I have winning an e-ticket. Does it happen?
Well, he's got to hold off 16 others, a 17-car snarling pack driving to the front, coming to 16 left. That 43 machine has the McDonald's machine right behind him. Toyota, Ford lead the pack.
Now you got to roll the dice. Something has got to happen here quickly for guys that are way back. Abraham Vila knows win or bust, jumps to the inside in front of the Presley Sora machine. Wilkerson will join in as well. Now looks back to the outside like the Pied Piper back in the day, blocking both lanes.
Well, and he has the run now. Vila trying to get something built up. The 43 of Wilkerson has to make a move. What's he going to do? Is he going to stay there? He going to block? Stays up high. That one car inching to the front.
Yeah, he wants to look, see, wonder, and how. Okay, 15 laps to go. Middle of this field, you see Brian Gutierrez. You see Jeff Perchatsky, Eladon Contreras. Check that. Make that Alexander Balderas. They're kind of just riding right now. Some of these guys aren't feeling as energetic because they think with all the pushing and shuffling, someone's going to make a misstep and maybe rack up a field.
You saw the 52 of Zola all the way to the back in that machine. And it's just still 2 by 2. Somebody's going to have to make a run in the middle on the high side, make a third lane, somehow get up there. You're not going to win this race from 5th or 6th.
Yeah, and there's no saving at all. Kevin Champagne, you saw it on the rear camera, goes top of the board, and will have the Avenged Sevenfold 14 and Jason Beckman to his aid with Abraham Vila.
And he's looking low. Nothing yet.
Sora.
4 wide.
No, Zachary Truel, does he save it? He doesn't. Hard into the outside wall he goes. Jerry Rodriguez spins as well.
Oh, and Presley Sora involved. Even more cars now piling in.
And the caution will wave. Zola, Rodriguez. Oh, Zachary Truel, the Pennsylvania driver, will not make the 26 e-ticket event. And you're going to have the heartbreakers. You're going to have the ones that you go, man, he should have made it.
And you're going to have the ones, too, that are going to have to make those 4 wide moves. They're going to have to go 4 wide to make their way up. You can't win. I'm sorry, you cannot win in this car on this pack. No strategy involved anymore from 16th, 17th. You've got to drive forward fast.
Let's go watch back on a replay. This is exactly what happened. You saw Sora out of line, just cuts back in, and it's 4 wide. Barbagallo's giving room, Rodriguez giving room. I think Rodriguez gave just a little bit too much because Truel got tagged, and bam, hard into the outside wall.
Well, then if you keep watching here, there's more piling in.
5 wide as well.
And watch right down. Sora hasn't missed until he doesn't. And he's straight up into the outside wall.
Now, there was a spin from what it looked like maybe just a little bit earlier. No, that was the Presley Sora machine kind of just stuck sideways with Connor Zola. And then the herd of machines continue to come on through. Man, wow. Sierra Clamper. Yes, a lot of people are watching her live right now on Twitch. I think they just are very thankful it wasn't a lot worse.
That was a great miss for sure.
Let's watch back. This is her on board just when it all went down.
So there they have problems up front. Man, she's still full throttle going on it. Dang.
She didn't see it. Still full throttle.
Yo!
And y'all here just saw her to the left windshield. Okay, pit road's wide open.
John, it's moments like that where like you're in the booth and you try and be professional and then you just become a race fan.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
You're just a racing fan at that point. But
I tell people all the time, hey, every weekend I'm calling an in-person race at a different racetrack, whether it's in Michigan or Indiana. I'm still a race fan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still a race fan. That is not changing. And you know what? We talked about it as well in the Discord. I said, hey, if we get 300 likes in the duel or the duels, and we get at least 400 likes in the Florida 500, I'll wear a suit to the truck race at Daytona. And lo and behold, we're 5 away. Haven't been promoting it, but it's just something that the Soul little group have talked about. So yeah, 300 likes in the duels, 400 in the Florida 500. I'll be wearing a suit and tie to the truck race. The greatest night in America, trucks at Daytona, in my personal opinion.
I'm betting you'll probably find your way on TV with that one.
Yeah, probably. Because we're already at 300. That Florida 500, everyone's excited about that. But before that, we need to see who's going to advance. And Kevin Champagne, he's showing his best. But a lot can change in 12 laps. Catch your breath for just a matter of moments. Dominic Barbagala will look on pit road. Connor Zola, first one out. See ya. Zachary Truhl, destroyed. We'll see if we can get a word with him before the restart. But oh boy, is it not going to be a happy driver. Truhl, John Ramos, an unfortunate end to your Florida 500 bid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a miracle I even got the race tonight because I was having serious issues with my computer, and I got it fired up with about 5 to go in the first duel. And yeah, I got it caught up in that earlier incident in my duel and had damage. Still had like 3 minutes worth of damage, and it was running full throttle to catch up. And Malik gave me a huge push back to the front, but I was just 2 laps short. And then just another victim here. So not the way I wanted to start the season, but thankfully we got many other e-tickets coming up, and you know, not going to let this one get us down. So I know there's a lot of good drivers that are going to be going home tonight. So I appreciate all the viewers watching, and yeah, we'll go get them next time.
Zachary Truhl, very positive outlook on a very long season of e-tickets. And he's just one of the nicest guys, and you know, just full around. An unfortunate end for him, but for multiple other drivers, they got 10 laps to make something work.
Yeah, and I think make it work. Some of them will. Unfortunately, for them at least, for us it's great. Only one of them makes it in.
Oh yeah.
For them, it's terrible. There's plenty of stress and all of that. For us, we get to enjoy it and reap the benefits.
We do. Great crowd back at hand, or back at home, should I say. Great crowd on hand. We hope to see you all this Friday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, the 26th e-ticket event, the Florida 500. We talked about it. We haven't seen an underdog winner in so long. And right now, from looking at the duels, we have a lot of veterans, and we do have a big bag of underdogs.
Well, and in this race alone, we're going to cut out some pretty big favorites.
Yeah. Some were expecting this to be Abraham Vila's shot at it. James Thurston's shot at it. Thurston has been at every e-ticket, at least to attempt it, since the first Florida 500 back in 2021. He's on the outside with Jason Beckman on the bottom. Wilkerson, a PBR driver, you expect him to make it. Champagne, same boat.
Wilkerson, I mean, he leads so many laps in these super speedway races. If you look at the e-tickets he was in last year, he was leading a lot of laps.
But he's going to have to go up against a driver that wins far too often to say that it will be an easy trip to victory lane. Jeff Perchatsky, he's lined up. Becoming a name, his first e-ticket, the Tailgate 400 in 2024. Can he make the show? 10 to go in the LCQ.
No games being played that time. 94-14, Champagne and Beckman get away quick, and they're up to the high side. Bottom line really breaking up.
And nowhere to be seen. Look at Beckman. way out in front of Abraham Vila. But behind that as well, you got Marmagallo, you got Comstock. William Schmidt. Separation, that's the new thing about this package.
Top 12 have separated themselves from the rest. Not too far for them to fall from the draft. And look up the middle, 3 wide, the closer, Schmidt at 79.
Oh boy, he's trying to mount up a charge, but has to catch the elevator on the outside. No, cannot. Has to take the stairs down low. 2 by 2, Kevin Champagne to the line. 9 to go, here comes Beckman.
He's trying to get that push. That 43, though, is so strong with help from the 4 of Thurston. Top line is just bullying this bottom one. Only 3 cars down there.
They have separated so much. It's a super train on the outside.
You watch those on the outside, though, and you might be separating so you can get that run.
Man. Look at these guys now, 2 by 2, 3 down low. Everyone else, top of the racetrack.
If somebody in the back there is going to win, they got to go with them, but they're breaking up now. It's just 2 of them. It's a tandem. Beckman and it looks like Vila. Yeah, they are just tandeming on the bottom.
Oh, Comstock, Balderas nearly got collected. They start to drop back a little bit further. You see William Schmidt, Clamper, Christian Delgado.
Oh, this is not good for some of them. They are single file all the way back. Now some defecting to the bottom. A lot of them are looking to make a run. Do they go with these guys? They're going to try and pass them.
Oh, Beckman sideways, just on the nose of Sierra Clamper.
And around more of them go.
Rodriguez in the grass. Clamper, heavy damage.
No yellow.
And now it will wave. Patrick Connell. Presley Sora. And now we can see if they even get it fixed.
But we're going to be going back green so late in this race.
And you look at it, I was thinking, man, hey, I think the top 20 still has a shot. I'm thinking now maybe it's going to be...
It's probably top 8.
Top 8, top 10, maybe top 10.
Look where Vila's falling back to, though. 10th, I mean...
And they didn't want to see that caution.
No. That front pack had gotten away, but it just got so congested in the backstretch. And you gotta throw blocks. You gotta make sure that you can try and keep yourself in position, but ultimately you pay the price a lot of the time.
Kevin Champagne still the race leader. He's been the dominant force most of this event. I think he just wanted it to go green. Let's watch a replay. Abraham Vila 1. Jason Beckman 14. Just a bad block out of the Avenged Sevenfold Chevrolet. Comes right back up in front of Sierra Clamper. I mean, it was a bullseye to the nose. Patrick Connell, the Ironman Chevrolet. Originally a Texan, moved to Wisconsin. Lives on a farm. Enjoys sim racing, enjoys racing itself. First attempt at an e-ticket, and it's going to be a miss. Skylar Comstock, 26. He's out as well.
Not many left, at least without damage.
Presley Sora, how did he get a piece of it? Just from an earlier incident. And was already off the pace. He'll come to pit road. 6 to go now. We'll get the 1 to go at 5 to go. We'll be back green at 4 to go. I would say still maybe top 10. I'm saying top 10 just because I think Vila can do something great.
Something wild could happen. We've seen so many times in these races where the guys behind the leader have it set, though. They're good to go. They're going to catch up. And then they get into each other. And the winner gets away. Does that happen this time? Does it happen, for instance, like Talladega, where third place gets into second, takes the 2 leaders out?
It's so unpredictable, and I love that you're saying this because we came in, Jarrett, with this notebook of notes just from the last couple of e-tickets with this next-gen car. And then earlier today, we got the notification, and there it goes.
Right
we had to
down the river.
learn with the viewers. We had to learn with the drivers. We got analysis wrong. But that's great because now we know what's going to happen come Friday. What I'm expecting is still a top 4, top 6. You're going to have a shot. And then all of a sudden, I wouldn't be surprised at the same time if we see a mount-up charge out of nowhere. 11th or 12th has a shot at the end of it. We just do not know, and that's what's so exciting.
I think, stay on the lead lap, because if they stack them up and have the giant one, then you're looking at somebody back in 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. One of them maybe even going up and winning it.
If I'm a betting man, I say Kevin Champagne.
Yeah, he has to be the favorite. I mean, he's been so good in this race, so good in his duel. He's so good in general. If he didn't win it, I think we would both be as surprised as anyone watching this race.
Jackson Buys in 5th, Brad Gutierrez in 6th, Alexander Balderas in 7th. What about William Schmidt? He sits 8th. What about Dominic Barbagallo? You still can't count out the closer. Right now, it doesn't look good. It looks actually terrible for William Schmidt. But you just do not know what that Toyota can mount up.
Well, less than 5 laps from now, we're probably going to know.
Lights off on top of the pace car. And we get ready to roll just one more time from the world's center of racing. 4 laps or bust. The Florida 500, once again this Friday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. You don't want to miss it. Champagne, Wilkerson, Thurston, Perchatsky. Fast forward, Jackson Buys, Brad Gutierrez. Brad Gutierrez, can the RGR driver do it?
He's been quietly up there all night.
Sponsored by the University of South Florida. That's just not a scheme he put on. Paying the entry for him to race this event. They've got a great amount of TV time. They're getting talked about right now, but they would be talked about more if he went to victory lane.
I think that the theme of this night with these drivers, this race, is what might have been. I think that just about every one of these drivers in at least the first half of this field either had something unfortunate happen or made the wrong decision that got them in this position. That's what you're going to look. All these guys running for the win, they're going to look back at one moment tonight and be like, that's it. That's the moment that I lost a chance to go for the 26th e-ticket.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. Some say it's the luck of the draw. Most that say that never end up winning. Others say it's a craft that very few understand, and the ones that say that always end up in victory lane. Kevin Champagne, super speedways, his bread and butter. So is with Jacob Wilkerson. 4 to go in the LCQ. Thurston shoving Champagne, row 2. Wilkerson right with them. Jackson Buys laying back. That's with Alexander Balderas.
Gutierrez shuffled out. They're still 2x2 for the most part. Front 4 clear the pack. Stay in single file on that high side. Champagne leads the way.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. But he's going to have to mirror drive if he wants to go to victory lane. James Thurston will not settle for second.
No, neither will Wilkerson or pretty much anyone else in this field. Another move. That bottom line not working together, and it's paying off for the high side, who is.
3 to go. And no one is helping down low. That turbulent air is just stuck with the drivers. Here's Jacob Wilkerson.
He takes the dive, and so does Champagne. He's going to block. Thurston now with Perchatsky on the back bumper. 3 wide for a moment, not going to make anything of it.
Tyler Tinsley up to 12th. Balderas inside with Barbagallo. Wilkerson will be sealed to that forward till the last moment. But can James Thurston make a move with Perchatsky?
Bottom line isn't doing anything yet. Coming to 2 laps to go. It's all Kevin Champagne leading the way. Wilkerson still glued to the back of him. A lot of wiggling in the pack. Nothing yet. 2 left.
Yahir Rodriguez gets into another driver. Shoves him wide. That's Jason Hall. This lane on the outside has not gone away.
It's the timing of when you do it. That is what's going to decide whether or not you get shuffled or win this race. Do you wait till the last lap? Do you wait till the last corner? Or do you jump out now, surprise them? Abraham Vila, 4 wide through the pack, made his way up. And they're still 4 wide.
It's not done. Barbacallo, Tyler Tinsley, Balderas gets into the 75. Rodriguez in the wall, but deep in the field. Do they let him race back?
And the caution is out.
Caution. They did not get to the line, and the best part about the admins called it, so we didn't have to do it.
We didn't touch it.
Yes, so glad about that. Woo, okay, we're going to overtime.
I'm about to say green, white, checker.
For the ones that don't know, last year's Florida 500, there was a wreck. Quickly, I decided to throw the caution, and quickly we realized it was unnecessary, and quickly the pitchforks were out for myself. So the admins, we have updated the admin, ruling what they can and cannot do. They can't throw cautions. We watched it, we saw the wreck, and they said, rock him back up. We're not done. Let's see how it all started. 4 wide. Usually does not work at Daytona. Balderas slides up the speedway, gets into the Tyler Tinsley machine. I said this joke once, I'll say it again. Tyler Tinsley has played these games. And unfortunately, does not look likely he's going to win this one.
That's bad. That's so bad, but I love it.
Alexander Balderas not having the opportunity in Duel 2 due to a mechanical issue. Team got it fixed. Brad Gutierrez doing what he can. We have yet to see an overtime, if I'm not mistaken, from Duel 1 and Duel 2.
I think we did.
Were we close? We had to be close in Duel 1. It feels like a millennium ago now. A millennium ago, should I say.
It does. It's like an almost different night, but...
That's right. Duel 1 overtime. Duel 2 all the way through. And here for the LCQ, it will be a green-white checkered. So Wilkerson, Thurston, Perchatsky, the biggest movers were that of William Schmidt and Abraham Vila. They're up to 5th. They're up to 7th. Lights are going to come off here from what we're hearing shortly. And those drivers that are impacted will unfortunately have to go to the fan vote. Tyler Tinsley, bad luck.
Well, I've noticed the chat. Just about every driver has had somebody in there go, no, they're in it. When they're in it, or they make a move. Oh my gosh, he made that move. So there's plenty of people that are voting for just about every driver in here.
Clampert, Sora still on pit road. We're down to 11 drivers on the speedway. That big wreck took them all out from deep in the field. Kevin Champagne, if I'm not mistaken, if he hasn't led every lap, it is absolutely close. Here's Perchatsky, that's yet to get one. No, 15 of 21, and Wilkerson has taken the other bid. So these two up front that have been up front the entire race, let's be honest, probably the top 2 that need to go to the main event, if not off of just skill alone. But you don't know if that is still the case. Vila has been strong. Thurston's been strong. They just haven't been leading laps.
Well, John, how many times have we seen this at Daytona and Talladega, where the guys who lead the most laps are usually not the ones who go to victory lane?
Right.
These two have been the best in this race. They've arguably been 2 of the best tonight that just had a bad circumstance. There's a whole lot of drivers who are very capable of getting by them, behind them.
Chat getting ready for what's after the LCQ. All eyes waiting now on these final 2 laps. Daytona. So much joy. You see it in the marketing, the advertisement, but no one ever talks about that Daytona heartbreak. For many, it's going to come with 2 laps to go, overtime in the LCQ.
Again, Kevin Champagne gets the advantage. A good push from Thurston. Going to get ahead of Wilkerson by a lot. So is William Schmidt getting a push from Vila. Bottom line, got to go quick.
Kevin Champagne outside now with Thurston. And Wilkerson's on his horse.
All over, back and forth. You're seeing the high line start to build up. That's not good for Schmidt, Vila, and Beckman. Top 4 all under a blanket, coming to the white flag this time by.
And nobody has gone with that 79-1 so far, and it's the ride to the outside. Schmidt getting left out to dry once more. One lap decides it all. Salamanca, 1 to go for the World Center of Racing.
Whenever you make the move, it's got to be true. It has to be decisive. Thurston looking. Now it's Perchatsky going down. Wilkerson follows, and Champagne is going to block. Big crash behind. About 6 make it through. This is the fight for the win.
Jeff Perchatsky, Jackson Byes involved. Wilkerson goes for a move, tries one way, tries the other. Champagne mirror driving to turn 3.
He's still got it. Top 3 now all under a blanket. Nose to tail. Wilkerson and Vila right behind Champagne coming out of 4.
Who goes to the 500? Who goes home? Champagne 94 blocks the 43 of Wilkerson. Wilkerson to the outside. Contact with Champagne. Abraham Vila will race his way into the Florida 500. What a finish. What a thriller.
Out of nowhere, right place with all of the stuff breaking out in front of him.
Can you believe it? He said this was his year. He's number 39. Champagne must get a fan vote. Thurston must get a fan vote. Abraham Vila, welcome to Friday.
And now the rest of the field set for this Friday night. Everyone watching at home, it's in your hands.
And Jacob Wilkerson possibly could have won that race. Champagne was just mirror driving back.
You see Perchatsky just getting to the finish.
Unbelievable. Abraham Vila, storybook finish for himself. He was up front in his duel. He was doing everything he can. And right when it all looked over, he's burning it down in victory lane. Vila victorious in the LCQ. Unreal. And you wonder how much this means to people, how much drivers want to go to victory lane. Look at the chat. Look at just the excitement. You're going to hear it out of the one.
There are so many that they're voting for in there.
Unbelievable. Abraham Vila will drive into victory lane. Only driver not able to start the race of the LCQ, Nathan Scott. And we'll get ready for the voting process right after we interview the winner. Turn 4, all you, Abraham Vila, welcome to the Florida 500.
Oh my God, John. I thought that was over. I'll be honest, I thought it was over.
Yeah.
The pain, I saw Smitty pull away. I was like, God, man, give me a miracle. I suffered so much today. And God said, Abraham, I'll give you one more chance, man. And my God, that wreck in front of me, I said, thank God, I love you. Wow. First of all, I would say thank you to Owen Lapsack, my friend. He was following me all the way. Thank you. I want to say thank you to David Lewis. He made it to show and Duel too. I was happy. Thank you, Lord. Lord, I love you. Stay with me, John. God is good. God is great. God is good. Woo, man. Oh my gosh, I'm racing
I think
Friday.
you just almost read us the book of Abraham right there.
Oh my God, Abraham would be happy right now.
How about that? What a celebration.
Oh my God.
This is unbelievable.
God, I was telling myself, no, Duel 2 was most unlucky race of my life. John, I was saving gas. I was like, all right, I'm good to go. I'm full throttle. Next thing I know, I lose the pack, and it was over. I was like, no way, it happened to me. Are you kidding me? And then I was like, you know what? LCQ, let's do something. My God, Champagne and Wilkerson, their teammates, so I knew it was hard to pass them unless you get help. And at the end, I mean, I don't know why they wrecked each other. At least get one of them in, but God is good though. God is great. I'm happy right now.
Man, it's awesome. And, I'm happy you just took full center stage on that. Amazing indeed for Abraham Vila.
Oh my God, this is real life. This is real. First of all, I want to say sorry to Jackson. I was getting pushed by Jerry, and I couldn't lift, and that turned out. Jackson, if you hear me, I'm sorry. That's nothing that I can control right there. I was getting pushed. But my God, how, John? How, John? Hey, Jared, how? Tell me something, please. Tell me how.
I don't know. We're speechless.
I don't know.
You have figured out a
speechless.
way to get the two yappingest yappers to not yap. This is the first ever. We love it. We're happy. You're awesome. I'm happy you're saying what you're saying. This is amazing.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't speak right now. I just can't speak. David Lewis, Kay Higgins, Kaylin, Lapsec, Drew Lapsec, that's not for y'all. That's not friend group, that's for y'all. And God is great, my Lord and Savior. Y'all should bless him what he did today. I went out with my mom, go out to eat before the race. Maybe that was a grace of God. A little bit of good things in my life. But wow, John, I can't believe it. I'm racing Friday. I'm racing Friday, John.
Yes, you are. Congratulations on winning the LCQ. Abraham, if you guys want to know what emotion is like and how badly these drivers want to win just to make an e-ticket, look no further.
Gracias por todos. Ya gente dominando la carrera. Gracias por todo. Gracias, John. Gracias todo.
And we are very grateful for it too. Abraham Vila.
Oh my God.
We know you follow Christ. Your name is Abraham. You mentioned Abraham. Here you are, victory lane. And now you'll get ready for Friday. Do you want to say anything to these viewers back at home?
I was about to say, if I got second or third, please vote me. I mean, this Crown Royal is very fast. I can push people to the front. But y'all are great. Y'all amazing. Pick the person y'all believe should deserve to be in the Friday. Sometimes people would vote for their friends, but vote for the person y'all believe. Listen to your heart. And also thank you for y'all watching, because my God, this is a big crowd, John. It's a big crowd watching.
And
so
y'all
are amazing.
We are really looking at this. So I'm seeing a lot of y'all here, right? But we're looking at the ones that are not spamming. We're looking at the one word. So I saw some Ortiz. I did see a lot of Kevin Champagne. I did see a lot of Yahir William Schmidt. 4 may not be enough. We may need to make a separate Google Doc, because it is insane how many are voting, unless we just pick the 4.
I mean, worst comes to it, we just put every single one in there, give them a link, and they vote for...
I think that's what we're going to do right now. And we're going to make it as you can only vote once.
One time, yeah.
I mean, put as many of the drivers as you can up there you've seen.
Everyone. All 23.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that, just because it's not one-sided of 4. There's like 6, 7, 8. So we're gonna have you all vote which is what on a Google Doc, and it's gonna be called Fan Votes. So stick with us. We're gonna see Sierra Clamper. We're gonna see Kevin Champagne. These are the ones I'm just seeing. We're gonna see Jacob Wilkerson, William Schmidt. What else are we seeing there in that chat? Presley Sora,
Tyler Tinsley,
Tyler Tinsley,
Thurston,
James Thurston. You're seeing some Thurston in there. And hopefully it's not by the drivers that are not voting. It's mainly going to be coming down to the fans itself. Abraham Vila, we're going to step aside, but man,
y'all good, John.
Friday, if this is how you react for the LCQ, if you go to victory lane, oh man.
My God. I am throwing a party in my house. Everybody's invited. No beers. I'm 20, so no beers, no alcohol. But Kool-Aid is fine. Water is fine. Gatorades. Hey, bring anything but no alcohol. But yeah, I have a win Friday, John. Being honest, in 3 years of trying for that Dale Senior. Hey, Dale won at 500 after a while. I think it feels like 20 years I haven't won 500. So it might be Friday, but hey, day by day, right, John? Day by day.
Right, day by day.
Ooh, but yeah, thank you all. Thank you for everybody that's watching. John, Third, y'all are amazing people. Great job of commentating. Oh my gosh. Hey, I'm done here. I'm gonna celebrate. I don't know what I'm doing here. I gotta go celebrate.
Go ahead and celebrate. Heck yeah.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Abraham Vila is in the show. Race fans, it's time for you to vote. These are the drivers we have. Clampert, Champagne, Wilkerson, Schmidt, Sora, Tinsley, Thurston, Rodriguez, Bies, Beckman, Ortiz. I believe I'm not missing anyone from what we saw. And mainly just because we're seeing some, maybe we saw Zachary Trull in there, here and there. It's so...
Spamming won't help.
Nothing is one-sided in there. I did not expect the chat to get that into it. And you know what? We'll put Zachary Trull. We know he's popular. Zach Trull in there as well. Wilkerson. We're going to look at it again. Clampert, Champagne, Wilkerson, Schmidt. Sora, Tinsley with Thurston, Rodriguez, Bies, Beckman, Ortiz, and Trull. I don't think I'm missing a single one. And this should, in theory, separate it just enough to where we could sit back and we can watch. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that everything is right. There's no overflow. You know, there's no overdoing it. Drivers are getting the right votes. And this obviously allows there to not be, you know, spam voting as well. So we're going to check things out one more time before we publish. And we're going to make sure we do some last checks because we know that there is a way to do it a certain way, and we're just making sure. So we're gonna publish and we'll be ready to vote. The vote will only be linked to the live chat, so everyone that must vote must be in the live chat. So just want to go ahead and point that out. Anybody with the link will do that. We'll do that. We'll do one more thing. So it's called fan vote, and here we go. Okay. Multiple choice. You get one vote and one vote only. That's how we have it. It is pinned. That is the fan vote. And we'll bring it trackside before we announce who is in and who is out with the fan vote. Unbelievable night. Unbelievable way for this whole thing just to go on and end. And it's just insane.
Oh, we're seeing it. We're seeing it come in live, by the way.
We are. So we're going to come back trackside, or excuse me, we're going to go to our studios here in Nashville, Tennessee. It is Sierra Clamper right now by 1 million. It seems like, and Kevin Champagne is close from what we are seeing. It is like smack, like dab in the middle from how things look. But nonetheless...
Do we have more options, though, we got to look down to as well?
Yeah, Zachary Trull, Mateo Ortiz, Jackson Bies, Sierra Clamper right now is ahead on the fan vote. Let's talk about it.
I mean,
Duels.
we could take the top 4 from this and make that our
I think
poll.
that's probably the idea, is to take the top 4 from this. So we're not done yet.
Yeah, nobody that's winning under 50% of the vote with everyone involved.
Correct.
We need to make sure we get everybody in there.
Let's make that very clear. I was already thinking that. Just want to point that out.
We're on the same page here.
Yeah, so we're on the same page. Top 4 here, and then it's going to go to the live chat as promised. But let's talk about the duels while that's all going down. Unbelievable. I mean, that was just, it felt like a chef's kiss. Duel 1 was different from Duel 2. The LCQ had its wild finish, that magical moment. Abraham Vila, I think, just like Nathan Dew did, won the hearts of so many. You couldn't have asked for a better Tuesday night.
No, you couldn't have. And we got a taste of everything, kind of what you're alluding to. I mean, just any kind of racing you would want at Daytona, you got it tonight. You got your rock'em sock'em pack racing that you always love. You got fuel mileage, a fuel lottery kind of race at the end. And then you got one of those kind of just normal super speedway races to kick off tonight.
There's a problem. I don't think we have 600 watching.
I have a feeling that someone put that in other people's chats, so we can just
or it's only not allowing the email, which it should have. So let's go off the top 4 from what we saw. How about that? I mean, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, the top 4 here. Clamper.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go off of our own top 4 because I mean we try to make it in a way that it could only be emails, and that was not the case. So how about this? How about this? Hold on. We're not done yet. We're going to make sure this is done correctly. I want to point that out. Well aware, and my phone is blowing up right now with how you can vote more than once. I haven't checked it, but I know that's exactly limited to 1 response. Is there any way we can delete them all? How about this? delete responses. Try it again. Oh, no, we can't delete all 800. That's unfortunate. Okay, we're going to have to try that all again. Oh, man, heartbreak for me. Can't delete every single response just at once. Yikes. Man, they really want their driver to get
Yeah.
me.
Hey, never underestimate just how many of them want their person in.
Yeah. We're seeing, we're seeing the votes really come on through. So I wish there was a way to just go ahead and delete them all, but that is not the case. So we'll do this. We definitely saw Clamper. We definitely saw Thurston. We're gonna go back to, I guess, the way it was originally, the live chat.
Well, so it's I think it was Clamper, Thurston, Schmidt, and Champagne were the top 4.
Is that what you saw as the top 4?
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can go back because it generally stayed the same. It's just we had a lot more votes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw it when it was around 80, and then it got up to 900.
It was the same people though that were the top ones. They were those were the repeat offender voters.
The only thing is, I feel like if I don't do a revote, people are going to be pitchforking. Delete all responses. Yes. No. Do it again. Deleted all responses. You can vote once more. Everyone's response has been deleted. You could try it again, and we'll go from there. I think this is going to be longer than the LCQ.
It might be.
It's election night. It's election night in NR.
And one way or another, it'll be divisive.
Yeah, it's not. There's not going to be one right or wrong answer. We have deleted all responses. You can try again. Only one response per person, and there we go. Now it's a little bit better. And Yahir Rodriguez is winning by a country mile. So
it's starting to change a bit. Remember, we only have a couple votes so far.
Right. Once again, top 4 here. Then it goes to the live chat. But that's another thing too. I just realized. I feel like we kind of have to change it just because of one thing. I know we're jumping around. People can also do that on YouTube with different YouTube channels.
Yeah.
So, do we keep it here? Do we pick 4 and then resend another fan vote link?
I say what we do is we get the top 4 here, and we'll put it in our chat for that vote.
And then we'll put it again. We'll put the final 4 fan vote through a Google Doc, just so it is persistent. We found a flaw in our system live.
All right, so the top 4 we have at this time is Sierra Clamper, Yahir Rodriguez, Kevin Champagne, and William Schmidt.
That's a good top 4. I like that. You got the underdog. Sierra is a creator. Kevin Champagne, he was right there. Wilkerson was right there. William Schmidt was right there. I think this is pretty even. We're going to give it maybe about 10 more responses. I mean, it's not changing.
Well, and it's given us the top 4 on the side. It changes depending on the votes.
Sora, Tinsley just out. Thurston way out. Yahir Rodriguez, who was in. Adios. He's not going to be in, it looks like. So it's going to come down between Schmidt, Wilkerson, Wilkerson, Champagne, and Clamper. It's not.
So let's see. Clamper, well, I think it is Yahir Rodriguez in second because he's that light green response there.
Maybe it is Yahir. Do we have to refresh?
So yeah, it's not changing the order.
No, that's
of
William
it.
Schmidt.
Yeah, but the light.
It's not. It is not changing the order. How about that? Okay. Yeah. So the big thing is we now know who the 4 are. So right now it's Clamper, Kevin Champagne, William Schmidt, and Yahir Rodriguez.
I'll write down for you.
I like that. Personally, who would you endorse? Now we have an opportunity to
I'm not endorsing anyone. I'm a conscientious objector on this one. All right, so I'm going to write them down. That way, if anyone wants to change anything on there, they would,
Can I close the polls?
I think you can.
I think it's time to go ahead and close the polls.
There's your fast 4.
That is our fast 4. Clamper, Yahir, Champagne, and Schmidt. We're going to send one more Google Doc.
Well, we can just put it in our YouTube chat with 4.
The only thing is, do you think we're going to have people try to play the system as well?
You can only do one vote on the YouTube chat.
That is true. You know what? Let's just go ahead and do it through the YouTube chat. That's how we set it to begin with. Let's do it. Voting is going to go through the YouTube chat. That's how we're going to do it. If you have a YouTube channel, you can vote. That's how it's going to be. Might as well, so it's live in front of everyone's face. Say it again, sorry. Clamper. It's Clamper. It's Yahir. K. Champagne. And then it is William Schmidt. This should be the biggest closer if William Schmidt can close this out.
G before N.
Ooh, oops.
Well, make sure they know who they're voting for.
Make sure they know who they're voting for. Everything good? Let's Go is going through YouTube. So let's go ahead and talk about it.
Watch it super even. We have to have a runoff election.
We have to have a runoff. We go back to the idea of the Google Doc. You know, you can tell.
No, we just have 2 at that point.
We did not expect the turnout to be this high for a fan vote.
I give them credit. Hey, they care. They care. They love their drivers. I give them credit.
Heck yeah, let's talk about it. Once again, you can watch all 40 drivers racing in the Florida 500 live this Friday, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on the IDK Player YouTube channel. You guys saw the Lane Sanders Designs overlays as well on the tower. We're still open to sponsorship. If you want to sponsor in front of a great crowd, my email is in the description below if you want to have your brand broadcasted to the thousands, to the great viewers of NR Night in America, to the competitors as well. If you want to have that opportunity to broadcast and have your brand out there, once again, email is in the description. Tomorrow morning we'll be answering and hopefully locking in all those sponsorship packages. Thank you so much to the crowd we had tonight, to the great drivers, all 64 of you. Even if you made it or you didn't, we believe that tonight was just an amazing night. It was worth so much, and the Florida 500 is just going to be that much more.
All right, let's open it up and see where we're at.
William Schmidt, oh my goodness. William Schmidt, oh my goodness.
I mean, that's a pretty hefty margin. That's 11% over
That is 11%.
And Clamper, and then Kevin Champagne at the lowest. That surprises me.
Yeah, that's...
And the lead is growing.
I think it's over.
I think it's over. I think the
closer has closed out the election. William Schmidt will be starting from the 40th position per fan vote and will be racing his way into the Florida 500. Kevin Champagne missed it by that much, that many times. I cannot believe I'm speechless.
The closer. That's all you can say.
Schmidt is in, and we'll see you Friday night. Is there anything else we need to say? Because I think the story kind of just got started. You're going to want to watch it once again, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, here on the IDK Player YouTube channel. If you haven't already, subscribe with notifications on. You're going to miss the biggest show on iRacing in February, the Florida 500. Don't miss out. Go ahead and make sure you can like, subscribe, and everything.
And tune in for the pre-race show. We got
yes.
Might even have a sneak peek at what's next.
We have more e-tickets coming. Don't think this is it. We have a huge e-ticket coming up next, and we hope you guys tune in for that as well. Once again, this email in the description if you want to continue to sponsor with the packages. I'm John Ramos, the voice of NR. To the right, Jarrett Lumberg. Have a good rest of your Tuesday evening, and we'll see you Friday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central.